Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. You are watching the Low Shack in the Bag show for Tuesday, June 14th. Jimmy the Bag, I had a winning day last week, didn't I? Or did I not?
Ooh,
It was a good one, right? Okay. So, 3 weeks ago, I wore a red sweater vest for luck. Didn't work. No, it did not work. Then switched up the look, goofy college kid look 2 weeks ago. Had a winning week. I said I was going to wear the look every single week as long as it brought luck. Until I have a losing week, I'll wear it every single time. Of course, I am a man of my word. And here we are again, Jimmy the Bag. We got the the backwards hat, the Bob Marley shirt here, right? This is like my take of how a goofy college kid from the 90s, but probably throughout all of humanity would look. It's brought me luck 2 weeks in a row. Today's a little bit tough card, right? MLB, we talk about this all the time. This time of the MLB season is I tend to go a little light. I tend to feel a little bit more confident, in the second part of the season, a little bit after the All-Star break. But we're still taking shots. We're still firing away. A few plays I have hit from today's card. And that's how I'm doing, Jimmy the Bag. How you doing, pal?
Everything is good. A little stressed out here.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the process of moving. So if this fucking tiny apartment wasn't already very difficult to work in, it's become even more difficult, but there is an end in sight. All is well. Had a winning day with the horses, which I needed badly on Saturday. I'd had a terrible first couple jewels of the Triple Crown, so it was nice. 11 hours of horse racing and to end up in the black is felt good. We're still on our run in NHL, 19-4 with over 10 plus unit spots.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Jimmy the Bag, man. After when you said that the Rangers weren't going to win another game, what a friggin' call! That's someone who knows NHL. For people who don't know what I'm referring to, of course, the Rangers were looking like I don't know, like they were going to take the series like the better team, and then after Tampa Bay won Game 3, Jimmy the Bag said on air that now Tampa Bay would win the rest of the series, would win all the games of the rest of the series. I don't know what the exact odds were at the time for Tampa Bay to win 4-2. Game 4, that made a lot of sense to me. Game 5, I have no idea how you knew that was such a great spot for Tampa Bay. And then just after Game 3, how you knew that Game 6 would also be a good spot. I don't know, Jimmy the Bag, but that's why you are who you are, why you do what you do, and why I listen to you so intently when it comes to NHL in general. How the hell did you know that Tampa Bay was not just going to win the series after Game 3, but sweep the rest of the games?
What they did against the Leafs shouldn't be understated. The Leafs could easily be about to play in a Stanley Cup final. That's how good that hockey team was. Well, their forward group, at least. The way the Lightning beat them 3 straight games by 1 goal, the way they won Game 7, without giving the Leafs an opportunity to do anything, completely clogging the front of that, these spectacular forwards just shutting them down. And then allowing 3 goals to the highest scoring team in the last 20 years, they're able just to play winning playoff hockey, or they're able to win playoff games on the road. They block shots. They do everything necessary to win those enormous games. And that's why they're the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. And we are going to discuss the first game of Stanley Cup after we break down MLB. We'll close the show with that. This is
important for you to think about in terms of long-term NHL. So if they're that good, what happened in Game 1 and Game 2? Why didn't they just do it then, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, we'll see if the same thing happens to the Avalanche, because the Lightning had the 9-day break. So
right.
They allowed 3 goals in 4 games to the Panthers, and they allowed a goal in the first 45 seconds against the Rangers. So you have to dial it up. You have to play a certain way. And I was wrong. Remember, Game 1, I was way wrong. And we had guys in the chat like Dan Bonner who were saying that the Rangers playing every second night for so long, they're completely locked in, and they showed that. And then we thought that the Lightning would take advantage of the rest in the second half of the series, and that happened. If it continues to work like that, well, then the Lightning should be live in Game 1. I know a lot of people are moving on the Lightning in Game 1. I haven't moved on them yet. I'm very interested in the Lightning first period at plus 125. I haven't moved on either yet. But it's just a Stanley Cup winning pedigree, and you have to lose certain ways. Like, the Lightning were swept by the Blue Jackets. And why the Blue Jackets didn't keep that roster together, that tough roster, of big forwards. Now just Boone Jenner's the only one left from that big group that swept. But it woke up this Lightning team, and they realized how they have to play to win Stanley Cups, and they just continue to play that way. And then they lose Braden Point, and then that made the capping even easier because the Lightning were unable to outscore anybody. They had to take advantage of the opportunities that came and then block every shot. And so we knew that if they were going to win, then the games were going to go under. I kind of thought that Game 6 might have some goals. And I talked about it a ton during the horse show, and I was trying to build up the courage to take the over in Game 6. And I never did. Thank God for that. But this is a dream Stanley Cup final. You have an Avalanche team going up against a 2-time defending Stanley Cup Lightning. It's the perfect world for me because I did cash both my conference bets on both those teams that I made much earlier in the year. And now I have them both to win the cup. So it's a dream. It was a horrible regular season though for me. It never all worked out the way you want it to, but it's a beautiful ending to the season.
Well, again, unreal, Jimmy the Bag. The call on Tampa Bay Game 4, that I could have done myself. Game 5, unfriggin' real. How you knew that they would continue to dominate against the Rangers on the road. Shout out to you, Jimmy the Bag. And I'll be watching your previews of every single game for the finals until it's all done.
Well, we always talk about listening here because that's one of the things you taught us. And you bet the last Tuesday. Was it Game 4? Was it Game 4 that you were here for last Tuesday game? But you bet it better than I did. Going 4-0. Your moves on it were absolutely spectacular. You also went 5-2 plus 2.83 units. You should have gone 6-2. You actually should have even done better than that, but we had a pitching change which cost you 8.5. It still kept your 3-inning because that's an action spot. But what you did was even better than I bet it. You had the Rangers Tampa first period under 1.5. Rangers team total under 2.5. Rangers no goal first period. And Lightning -1. I took your Rangers no goal first period. I used that in Game 5. That led me. So I was listening to how you dominated it. So, and it wasn't just that. We started something because then Mr. Gogster came on and had a 2-0 week. So as a group here in NHL, we went 11-0 plus 12.61 units last week. It was
very, very nice.
It gives us a ton of confidence moving forward. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Michael Ervelina says Dub Nation. Can't wait for the show. Great weekend. Love seeing all the low baggers cashing. Pop Source Radio blowing up, making us all money. Thank you, Slaughter and the Capping family. This has been about a 3-month run, Pete, that we've been on. The longest run I can remember, the best run I can remember. It's just feels like everything's coming together the right way. Viper says, what up, fam? 0-2 yesterday in MLB, but cash huge on Warriors money line. I love that. Dodgers first 5 over 4.5. Cleveland -1. Blue Jays over 9 locked in last night. Oh, he said 2-2 last night. 2-2, and then that's okay. He says he's zooted. Sammy Comer ready to get to work. Great to see all you guys. James S. Billy Friedrich. James S. is on the Dodgers today. That's the only bet I've made. I'm on the Dodgers first half and full game. I have slipped a bit in MLB, Pete. I'm just up plus 0.84 units now after 228 bets. I would take it if somebody offered that to me at this point in the season, but I was kind of I thought, oh man, could I get up to double digits? That's not the case. Kyle Hintlian ready to go with his giant bets. He's been cashed. When you see Kyle Hintlian on a huge bet, and it correlates with your capping. You fire immediately. Art Hayes in the house. Dennis Garcia. What a great group. Great to see. Dennis says, I'm sure Jose is in a great mood. I love Jose's passion. So, you're going to win, you're going to lose. You make these takes in what you expect to see. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And the Warriors haven't won the series yet. And I imagine that there's still got to be some bravado left in the man, I believe. Let's see what Dennis says. Boston shot double the amount of free throws, but every Celtic fan insists the refs were against him. Okay, he's okay. There's Nasty Nate ready to get to work. Serious business. Alex Hill says, going to the Rays Yankees game tonight. Super pumped and ready for these picks. Let's get this cash, baby.
All right, let's do it. I want to take up 10 seconds right now to say happy birthday to the wife of Nutflush Allen, Kristen. Shout out to you, Nutflush Allen. You announced her birthday on Twitter, but I don't go on Twitter because people say Twitter's toxic. But then I went on Twitter. It's Nutflush Allen wishing his wife happy birthday. That's not toxic at all. That was beautiful. Maybe I'll be on Twitter a little bit more starting now. Shout out to you, Nutflush Allen, the entire Nutflush Allen family, and happy birthday, belated happy birthday to Kristen Nutflush Allen.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. Saturated, running hot right now, and I love. Look, I want Jose when he's got these takes that are so much fun and add so much to the show to succeed. But I did think that the people who stuck by the Warriors, I'm happy that they were rewarded in games 4 and 5. I still think the Celtics are very live in this series, personally. James S. says, you're aware after the 4th hour, I was burnt on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, those are long. Thank you, Alex Hills. Those were long. That's a long, long, long day. And there's Nutflush Allen said I was returning Kristen's birthday gifts.
Yes. Shout out to Nutflush Allen.
Nate Dogg says Colorado wins the Stanley Cup. I believe Colorado will win the Stanley Cup as well, and I think it'll be a very similar series to what we just saw. In that, I think the Lightning could jump out early and take a lead. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it. James S. said I'm all over Tampa to win it all at plus 170. I think that they'll if Colorado's capable of turning it on in game 1, well, this series is donezo. The Lightning need to win game 1, and then they'll be ready to rock. All right, let's get to work. I wish I could give a shout out to all you guys. You guys all deserve it. It is great to see you. Let's get to roll. Here we go. Jeff Slaughter saying, if anybody's in Texas area, come hang with some of the pub crew all weekend in and around the Austin and San Antonio areas. Yes, I know that Nasty Nate is coming in on Thursday. Dabby Cab will be down there the whole time with the crew. UFC in Austin on Saturday night. But, the guys are coming in on Thursday to party at the big Pub Sports Radio headquarters at the
Hell yeah. I'm going to make it down there one day, Jimmy the Bag. That's like Mecca to me now. I'm going to make my lifetime pilgrimage at some point to that Pub Sports Radio bar. It's going to be awesome.
It's a hell of a bar. It's a great bar. Saturated says, I'm betting the Celtics on Thursday. I'll be on the Celtics in game 6. It's -4 right now. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it, but I will be doing the same. Elliot V on Dodgers -1.5, Phillies moneyline cards, second game -1.5, Yanks -1.5. Let's get right to work. Mm-hmm. And Sammy says Tampa Bay first period could be the move, but if I'm their coach, I'm telling them to pace well, going to be a long series. If I'm Tampa's coach, I'm telling them, I don't think I tell them anything. I don't think I need to tell them anything. This is a championship group that's playing at the championship level. They know exactly what to do. I might stare at them with a really angry stare for a little while and then maybe throw something and walk out of the room, but I don't think I'd do anything more than that. Let's get to work right now. Pistol Pete Loshak, MLB Game 1. Pittsburgh Pirates 24-35, 11-18 on the road at the St. Louis Cardinals, 35-27, 19-12 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. We'll start with the weather in St. Louis. 93 Fahrenheit, humid. Feels like 103 Fahrenheit. By 3 p.m. in this game, it's going to feel like 106 Fahrenheit. 10.6 miles per hour to the left, goes up to 11.6 miles per hour. It is hot. The site that I used to give me the exact times of the market movement has not been updating like old times, but I will be able to give you the opening line and where it stands right now. So there's been no changes in this game 1, sitting at that plus 145 opening money line. Let's see if there's been any changes in the total. There has been. So it opened up at a pick'em at 9.5. It is now minus 120 to the under. I'm not going to talk really about I guess we could talk a little bit about the cash, but it's going to have all of yesterday's numbers included. So they have 22,318 tickets in for this game. 73% of the tickets are on the Cardinals, but just 42% of the cash. Big bets have come in on Brubaker and Pittsburgh, believing that they have value here at Sports Insights. And Sports Insights does give them a more than a sliver, like maybe a fifth of a value line. The only team with full value here is Oakland and Koenig. And the two teams with half value, according to Sports Insights, are the Detroit Tigers and the Texas Rangers. So that is the cash flow here today. Brubaker, 0-6 on the year, 4.60 ERA, 1.41 whip, 58 and 2/3, 60 Ks, 26 walks, and 8 homers. Last start, 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-1 loss at the Braves. That was a very impressive start in Atlanta to a team that's winning and winning and winning. Now has lost Ozzie Albies to injury, but 12-game winning streak. Going up against Matthew Liberatore, 101, 5.54 ERA, 1.85 whip, 13 innings, 10 Ks, 8 walks, 4 home runs. He got touched in his last start. 7-5 loss at the Cubs. 3 in the third, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 home runs allowed. Pirates rating 229, 663 OPS versus lefties. The Cards don't hit lefties hard. 249, righties. The Cards don't hit righties hard. 249, 704 OPS. Pirates bullpen, 4.26 ERA, 1.32 whip. Cards bullpen, around the same level, 3.84 ERA, 1.29 whip. Here we go, game 1 of the double dip. Pistol Pete, Lochak, Pirates, Cards, take it away.
All right, yeah, this is an interesting series. I did have the St. Louis team total over yesterday, which was not looking good for most of the game, but then it did cash. I do have vague leans to the over and to Pittsburgh here in game 1, and I did bet the Pittsburgh team total over, even though Pittsburgh in general, of course, has a quite weak offense. Liberatore might be vulnerable here, and Pittsburgh again. They have a weak offense statistically, but they got a lot of young guys in the lineup. A lot of guys who are energetic and enthusiastic and looking to play as well as they can and make their mark. So that's something that I always do have in the back of my mind. I did bet. Again, lean to the over in game 1 and lean to Pittsburgh in game 1 as a big dog. And I did actually bet the team total over at 4 at not a bad line. Right now at Will Hill, I'm seeing 4 for Pittsburgh would be minus 110, 3.5 minus 145. At Pinnacle, it's 4.5 at plus money. So that's all very tempting. And you know what? I think I will make that official. We can just go with 4 minus 1. Oh, is that 118 or 110? Oh, I guess it's it just moved. Oh shit! It just moved as I was talking, Jimmy the Bag. Minus 118, I guess. Over 4 minus 118 for the Pirates. I did bet that, and I like it enough to give it officially.
So that is the Pirates team total over.
4, yeah, minus 118. Although in the beginning of my rant it was minus 110. Glance down again, and it's minus 118. So we'll go with that.
Hunter Engelhart, who will be joining us on Thursday. Finally going to have Hunter Engelhart here, capping MLB with us, says, best play in the game is Cardinals first to score. Says Brubaker going to have a short day. Brubaker going to have a short day. Dommy Gun, Ricci his lean is under 5. First 5, game 1. Says he'll be at the Mets game tonight.
Go ahead. What did you say?
He's going to be at the Mets game tonight. He took over 8. Says Bassett at home, over. Hauser on road, awful.
I did bet Milwaukee and the Milwaukee team total over already on that game. I did not bet the full game over, but I did bet Milwaukee and the Milwaukee team total over already. Small.
Wrong. Crawford spreadsheet play today is the New York Mets for that game. Let me just get that in here so that we can discuss it when we get to that game. 7:10 p.m. in Citi Field. I'm going to be a little hesitant here. Armchair MMA says Pirates plus a half first 5. Scared money don't make money. There we go.
Yeah, I don't really love directly fading the Cardinals at the moment, especially not with Pittsburgh. And I don't know if I'll have any other bets on this game, but as of right now, the only one that I did take and will make official is the Pittsburgh team total over 4.
Well, you are in business. Dommy Gunson went with the Padres minus 133. I was very interested in the Padres as well, but man, impossible not to notice that 8% of the tickets are on the Cubs and 49% of the cash. That just stopped me right in my tracks. So we'll talk more, but that had been my plan before I looked at the numbers here.
I think that is probably people looking to fade Hendricks, which I think is extremely justifiable. But for today's game, I think it's a very coin flippy situation. So we'll talk about it.
We will talk about it. El Dorado Custodian wants a quote from the Pigeons. They're not out there right now, which is just glorious. So I can stay focused. And Cards game 2 spreadsheet play. Armchair MMA saying Pirates hit better first few times through. Now that is a spreadsheet play, not the spreadsheet play of the day, which he writes in capitals. But that is, and Billy Friedrichs on Cards first 5 team total over 2.5 at minus 127 says I'll be on that. All right, let's talk about this game 2 so that we can just move past the double dip. We have Bryce Wilson going up against Miles Michaelis. Michaelis coming off a great start that was predicted by Birdie. And it was a 2-1 loss at the Rays. I still cashed, but it was a nice prediction by Birdie because Michaelis had not looked good in 2 straight starts. Bryce Wilson got lit up in his last start against these very Cards. 18-4 was the final. He only lasted 1 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. He has a 7.53 ERA, 1.78 WHIP on the year. And Michaelis went 8 strong against the Rays in Tampa and looked very good doing it. So let's just take a look and see what the difference in game 2 is. There's no line here for it. Let's see if there's line up here. We have plus 180 for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the total is a half run lower at 9. Is there anything you're looking for in game 1 that would appeal to you for a game 2 move, or is that too tricky of a question?
It's a little bit too tricky of a question, but in general, I'll probably be looking at St. Louis in game 2. It does not look like a good spot for Wilson, and I might bet the St. Louis first 5 team total over 2.5 without knowing what happens in game 1. So yeah, that's the way I'm thinking. That's the way I'm looking.
Okay, I like it. Andrew G says Jay's run line is an auto bet tonight too. So yesterday was the first time of the last 17 games that I did not bet the Jays. I think when they were 22-20, I was ahead of the market. When they swept the Angels, I was ahead of the market. Here at home against the Orioles, and I'm looking at these heavily juiced -1s that I've been betting. And
yesterday you weren't on Toronto?
I stopped.
Wow. Okay. I've been stinking it up in baseball the last just 3 or 4 days. Overall, I'm doing well, but had a bunch of losers in the last 3 or 4 days. That was one of my big winners, Jim. Toronto, first 5, -1, and first 3. With Manoah on the hill, cashed them all, right?
I thought that I was probably being kind of lazy, that I could. And then the -1, we talked, because I was at a poker game last night. We talked about the -1 was probably the look, and maybe I was just getting lazy. But we study all of our numbers and how we're doing them. I looked at the overall record of these heavily juiced -1s I'm on, and it's just
it's tough, sure.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad you guys all cashed with it. And look, I want them to keep winning out. I've got heavy for me futures on them. But and I have not bet them today. But let's move on. So that is the double dip. Loshak's moved on the first one. Pirates over 4 at -118. Let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. And Hunter Engelhardt saying the best play on that board was Cardinals to score first. Let's go. Atlanta Braves, 35-27, 15-13 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 23-40, 11-20 at home, Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Justin Bilbo says combining a Blue Jays money line with having the most hits. Having the Jays with the most hits is always around -110 and cashes every time they win. Good way to get a better price. I like that. Andrew G said, I heard Yankees 95 chance to make the playoffs now. Jays won a whole bunch of games and barely made ground on the Bronx Bombers. Yeah, they didn't make any ground on the Bronx Bombers. They went 13-4 over the last 17 games, and the Yankees are just playing spectacularly well. All right, let's go back to this Braves-Nats spot with Fried going up against Jackson Tetreault, making his MLB debut, 26-year-old 7th-rounder, drafted in 2017. AAA Rochester was where he was this year. 5-3, 4.19 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, 58 innings, 52 Ks with 24 walks, 10 homers. Not very good numbers here. And we have a Braves team that is also not going to have Ozzie Albies in the lineup. Oh, it's all good, Justin, my man. There's Jimmy Gomez in the house, Armchair MMA. Bruce Hayward says Braves blowout winner. Let's start with the weather over there. Imagine it's hot everywhere here. Get to this Braves-Nats spot. Oh, it's not hot in Washington. 82 Fahrenheit, it feels like. So 79 at first pitch, 5.5 miles per hour in, dies down to 3.7. When we go over to the line movement in this one, it opened at 3 in the morning at -225 for the Atlanta Braves. They are now at -240, so a 15-cent move towards them. From the total, it opened up at 9, -120 to the under. Now -115 to the under, so a 5-cent move to the over. And when we go over to the cash flow in this one, we have 3,568 tickets in. They give the same amount of line value for the Braves as they gave for the Pirates, so about a fifth of the line. 7% of the tickets are on Tetro and the Nats, and 55% of the cash, which is wild. Absolutely wild. And then you have 73% of tickets, 70% cash on the over. So big bets are coming in on Tetro and the Nats. Wild to me. Nats have a great average against lefties, 263, but don't have any power, 701 OPS. Braves are hitting 239, 717 OPS versus righties. Fried on the bump, who's having an excellent season, 2.64 ERA, 1.04 whip, has looked very good in tough situations. Went into Colorado in the thin air against a team that's hitting 900 OPS against lefties and completely shut them down. Braves bullpen has been unbelievable on this run. Keeps getting better and better. The numbers keep improving. 2.99 ERA, 1.13 whip. Nats bullpen been bad all year. 4.46 ERA, 1.38 whip. Pistol Pete, did you move on Braves Nationals?
No, and I guess I probably won't, but I don't love the spot for Fried. Tetro is overall his numbers are not very good, but of course there's a huge amount of uncertainty whenever a guy is making his first start like this, and a lot of guys with crappy minor league stats will sometimes come in and have an unexpectedly good start their first time around, and then start to get hit a lot more later on. This is I definitely, if you gave me a free play on the side, I put it on Washington. My numbers say that Washington has small value, but with extremely low confidence, and a very slight lean to the over as well. And in general, my numbers don't really like the spot here for Fried, but it's going to be a pass for me. But this might be one of those plays where I might make a bet on Washington, but not tell anyone, because in case it turns out to be an obviously stupid bet that loses by a mile, no one will know but me, which is fine. So going to be a pass for me, Jim. But I don't love the spot for Fried at all.
It's amazing that these spots where you don't like the spot for one of these elite starters is another, is a situation where there's big bets made on the dog, which surprises me because
Fried has not done particularly well against Washington. As you said, they have some nice numbers. I mean, they have some, okay bats in the lineup that can do well against lefties,
Sharpie says Soto got hurt last night, pulled in the seventh. Strasburg got scratched, sent to the IL. They had a bullpen day yesterday, and the pen is taxed. And Johnny Gonzalez says, I've been fading first-time starters at this point in the season, and I've been cashing. A new guy gets down early, and that's something that also Big Ragu talks about this time of year, fading these first-time starters.
If you gave me a free play on the game in total, I'd just throw it on the over.
Yeah. I've got a Dommy Guns action here, so we'll talk about it throughout. Wow, very interesting market going on right now with some of these games. And the first, right off the hop, we have game one.
Shout out to Dom Ricci.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We see that he's 64% of the cash on the Pirates with just 27% of the tickets. Then we have the second game, other than the double dip, of course, on the board has 8% of the tickets and 55% of cash on the Nationals.
Oh, shit, Jim. Kyle Hintley in Atlanta, easy money, Braves 5K done. There you go.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around, and he cashes at an alarming rate.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it would, I don't like the Washington starting pitcher long term. Of course, I like Fried long term. Obviously, Atlanta has a much better lineup and bullpen. Yeah.
All right, no moves for me. Let's keep rolling. Next up, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Miami Marlins 27-32, 12-18 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies, 31-30, 18-16 at home at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We will start with the weather in Philly, 81 Fahrenheit. Man, this team is winning ball games. I try so hard not to talk about what has just happened. We don't have the Marlins Phillies. We don't have the we don't have the graphic for this one. We apologize for that. But it is I'll just take this off. It's Marlins Phillies here. Oh, maybe this is it. No, it's not. Okay. So Marlins Phillies. Phillies have won 11-12. I know I try so hard not to talk about any kind of what happened yesterday or win streaks here, and that's helped my gambling over the last couple years in MLB. Let's talk about where the line opened and where it is right now in Philly. It opened with the Phillies at minus 150. The Phillies are still minus 150. This total opened up 8.5. Oh, it looks like it's starting to update at minus 105. It's now 8.5 at minus 115 to the over. So a 10-cent move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash in this one. You have 5,132 tickets in, 62% of the tickets, and 95% of the cash is on the Phillies. That's a lot of money for no line move whatsoever. That's very strange. Then 81% of tickets, 80% of cash on the over. Yes, Sammy, great call. That's a great call. Let's finish off this game, but thank you for reminding me. And we have a question that we wanted to ask you from last week, Pete. I'll copy and paste it right here.
Okay.
And
Kyle Hintlian loves Phillies here. Maybe we should just call this show Low Shack in the Bag. Read Kyle Hintlian's posts and tail them all.
Yeah, I get it. I get Andrew G saying, I heard Canada government lifting all vax travel restrictions, testing June 20th. It's good news. It's great news. We're very, very, very happy about all that. Sharpie says Eflin's at home is a different beast. I get the money on him, but these Marlin bats are real. Nathan Turner says, I think that 95% is fading Trevor. Let's talk about the lefty Trevor Rogers, and I'll pull up the batter versus pitcher after Pete talks about the situation here. 3-5, 5.5 ADR, 1.54 whip. He's not looked good this year. He's coming off a 7-4 win at home versus the Nats. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk. Eflin last out was at the Brewers, went 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 2 Ks and 3 walks. He's a 3.76 ERA, 1.18 whip on the season. Marlins versus righties, they smash him. 254, 741 OPS. Phillies versus lefties, they smash him. 250, 760 OPS. And both bullpens are bad. Both bullpens are bad. There's Brian Watson in the house. Take it away, Pete. Any interest here in Marlins Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, I did bet modestly, normal size bets. I bet both the over and the Philly team total over as well. For Philly, I think I got 4 at I forgot what exact line I got for Philly, but I took the Philly team total over at 4, and I also bet just the full game over 8.5 as well. Both of those I think are modest value bets, but I think the value is there. Again, yeah, Philly is definitely for real at the moment, especially offensively. Rogers is struggling to a certain degree, I think, for real, and kind of a no-brainer. Modest, my numbers checked out with my gut on the game and the eye test and everything, and didn't really overthink it. Didn't overbet it. But I did take the over and the Philly team total over. I wouldn't be opposed to making both of those official plays. Jimmy the Bag. I'm feeling a little nervous about MLB right now, but yeah, I have already bet those two. Oh wow, minus 145 for the Philly at Will Hill. Let me see what Pinnacle might have. But yeah, I took the over and the Philly team total over both already on my personal betting accounts.
Great stuff coming from the chat here. This is the perfect example of how we all work together. Hunter says, true, but Eflin has had an ERA under 5 against Miami in the past 3 seasons. So 5 guys in the lineup are hitting 300 against him with double-digit at-bats. Sharpie says, over the last 2 years, he has a 2-run ERA better at home than on the road. Eflin shut down the Dodgers and the Mets at home. But hot bats versus right-handed pitching, he likes Miami. And Hunter says, no doubt, would lean over here as well. Yes, Lucas Ryan, you did miss it. The game 1 breakdown of the double dip that pops off in about 2 hours. And Peter Loshak moved on the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over 4 at minus 118.
All right, you can throw that out. Over 8.5, minus 113. No biggie, standard play. We can throw that one on there. Miami, Philly, over 8.5, minus 113.
I like the look. I feel like that minus 115 is not going to be available for me. It might be something that I have to bet during the show. I think that it's just going to keep climbing. But I like the look here. That is the Marlins Phillies over. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. My pleasure, Lucas, my man. G was fighting the good fight with us for 11 hours. He was riding with us for the horse show. 11 hours straight. G was running with us. Okay, so Loshak over 8.5. in Marlins Phillies at minus 113, and I want in. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up for us is the Tampa Bay Rays, 35-25, 14-12 on the road at the New York Yankees, 44-16, 26-7 at home. We're in the Bronx. Let's see what we have weather-wise in New York here. 81 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 3.6 miles per hour in, goes up to 3.9 miles per hour. So very little wind to worry about and nice weather for baseball. Let's take a look at the line movement here in the Yankees spot. This is a classic matchup. Kluber, Cole. The Yankees open up at minus 210. Let's see if I can get it where they are right now. Sorry, I got too many things open here. They open up minus 210. Now they're minus 220, sitting at minus 220. From a total perspective, they open at, and it does look like this is, I think I can stop worrying about this. And oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. The 8 opened up as a pick'em. There's been a 15-cent move to the under, and it happened 11 minutes ago. It might just be catching up. I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but we have the under 8 at minus 125. Billy Friedrich looking at first 5 under here. Benny Samps. Benny says Rays for the cash. Top set leaning to a first 5 over. Sammy Comer says insane value on the Rays. I'll be on them for sure.
For sure.
1.5.
Okay.
Justin Bilbo, my man Justin Bilbo, coming to us from Germany, says get right spot for Cole. I'm on the Yankees run line. Roger that says ain't the same Kluber from the Indians. Nathan Stern says feels like Cole is due for one of his core meltdowns. Roger that on the Yankees run line. THC's Rizzo says have to play the Rays mandatory division game with those odds. Eric Jones wants the Rays. Kyle Hintley agrees with the Rays. Ronnie Ambergia says Cole looks like garbage last start. By the way, Kyle agrees about the Rays but says no bet for him. So let's talk about this spot a little. Oh, let's see where the cash is. Of course, let's see where the money is in this big AL East matchup. 7,691 tickets in. 39% of the tickets on the Rays and 52% of the cash on the Rays. So the bigger bets are coming in on them. 49% of tickets on the under, 70% of cash on the under. And we just saw a 15-cent move to the under. Noli knows on the Cole K prop.
Mm-hmm.
Noli knows sees a bounce back spot as well for Garrett Cole. Let's start with Kluber. 3.88 ERA, 1.15 whip on the year, 51 Ks and 55 2/3. In his last start, he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 1 walk, in an 11-3 win at home over the Cardinals. Garrett Cole's last start was wild. 5 home runs allowed. He went 2 1/3, 8 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, 5 homers, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and the Yankees came back and win. That's just kind of ball they're playing this year. Now it's a 3.63 ERA, 1.07 whip, 84 Ks, though, in 67 innings. But in those 67 innings, he has allowed 11 home runs. Rays don't hit righties, 225, 655 OPS. It's a problem. The Yankees against righties are 252, 772 OPS. They smash them. Rays bullpen, 3.05 ERA, 1.16. Very good, but so is the Yankees bullpen, 2.87 ERA, 1.13 whip. Can't wait to hear your breakdown on this one, Pete. Take it away, Rays, Yanks.
Cole is such a funny dude. I feel like my forecasts for how he's going to do are right about 2/3 of the time, and then 1/3 of the time atrociously wrong. He has high volatility. Overall, his numbers on the year are friggin' phenomenal, right? His strikeout and walk ratio is unreal, vicious. What happened in his last start? I haven't even looked into it in depth. I have no answer for it. I'm blindly expecting him to bounce back here, but I haven't bet this game yet, and I might just pass on it. It's such a crazy, it's a huge line. I think there's going to be a big bounce back for Cole here. But does that mean that the Yankees coming off an 18-run win at this high of a line against Kluber and the Rays are a good bet? Not necessarily. A lot of people in the comment section seem to have strong, confident opinions about this game in both directions. And, this is one of those in betting, when you genuinely think you're seeing legitimate value on both sides of the line, that's the bad sign. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay off. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm like, man, there's great value on the Rays and the Yankees. All right, maybe I should just stay the hell off this game. This is a crazy game, Jimmy the Bag.
It's interesting the way Noli's focusing on the strikeout prop.
Yeah, that's I think that is probably a prop is the best way to bet this one. I definitely believe that the stats indicate that it's going to be a big bounce back spot for Cole. Maybe someone knows something that's not in the spreadsheet that tells him that he's going to get shelled again. But his overall numbers on the year are awesome. There's no reason to think he won't bounce back here.
We talk about, Pete's always talked about listening. And one of the things is, when I watch cappers that I look up to, Noli being one of them, we had a day he was on the show and baseball went sideways that day. And there was lots of losing around and he didn't lose. And I was like, so, why was he able to kind of stay away from the mines that were planted all over the place? And here is the example. Peter talking about a spot where it feels like both teams have value, and Noli betting the game, but betting the prop on Cole instead of backing Cole at the price or backing the Rays at plus 180. So you got to watch the cappers that succeed. And looking at numbers versus Kluber, there are some good ones, but not really from the big boys. Rizzo 250, Stanton 250, Judge 333, and none of them have homers against them. And then the numbers versus Cole, Rosarena struggles against them, Margot struggles against them, Kiermaier under 200, as it was mentioned. G-Man Choi just rakes 500 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. D. Jenkins says Tampa 3-6 as an away dog. Raymond Reichart looking at the Cole props at only at 8.5 at plus 106. Eric Jones says Cole will only get 7 Ks. D. Jenkins says Yankees 6-0 with a day off. 6-0 with a day off. Oh, I hate hearing that. Rob Free says White Sox burnt me out of 3K Sunday. D-backs burned me out of 2K yesterday. Says my morale is very low today. It's such a battle, as you know so well, Rob. The only thing I can tell you about how you're feeling is that we have to do whatever we can to not let the losses hurt so much more than the wins feel good. And I have to tell myself that I used to always have to leave my apartment. I'd have to go for a walk. I've kind of fixed that shit. But I get it. I get it. And let's turn that around for you, Rob. I have not moved, and I'm not comfortable moving on this spot. Noli's K-prop to find appeal. Let's just see what I would get that K-prop on. Pete, I was going over the mistakes I've made in multi-sports, and this was months ago, and I saw there was one thing in common, and it was player props. And I've not made a player prop, not one. I've not bet one player prop in the entire NBA season, the entire NHL season, the entire MLB season. I've completely cut it out. And there's been so many times where, when anybody talks about a player prop, it almost always sounds good. When someone pitches, you're like, yes, that does sound, yes, and at least I've got that out. But let's just see what the strikeout prop is for. I'm getting 8.5 juice to the under at my book, minus 130 to the under. Okay, and Sammy says gem of the day, UEFA Nations League, Germany money line, and both teams score at plus 250. Hunter Engelhardt says team total over for the Rays 2.5 juice to the over, and Yanks 4.5 juice to the over. Says if I had to pick a play here, it'd be over 7.5. Okay, Pete, no move for you. We move on?
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
7:07 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Orioles 26-36, 11-21 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays, 36-24, 19-10 at home. The Orioles seem to be the team we expect them to be on the road. It's at home when they're playing quite well. Here is Jordan Lyles coming off a 7-5 loss at the Rays. I successfully faded Lyles last start. I would like to fade him every start. But Kikuchi has really not looked good of late. And it's hard to want to back him at a favorite price. 2 1/3, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 2 Ks, 4 walks. Let's see what's going on here. First, we'll take a look. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Toronto. So it's 68 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 5.6 miles per hour out to left, and the roof will be open. Then we'll take a look at the line history here. Oh, sorry, get this up here. The line history in the Blue Jays game. So it opened, Jays opened minus 210. They've taken 10 cents according to this. Let me just double check and then I can stop double checking. Yeah, so they're at minus 220 right now. The total's at 9, juice to the over at minus 120. And let's see if that was the opening line. The opening line was 9.5, so it's dropped a half run. So it opened up at 9.5, juice to the under. It became a pick'em at 2 in the morning, and then at 11:30 in the morning, it dropped to 9 minus 120 to the over. We take a look at the cash in this game. 8,423 tickets in. 31% of the tickets on the Orioles and 77% of the cash. And that's just wild. So huge bets are coming in on the Orioles. Then 89% of tickets on the over, but just 52% of the cash. So clearly sharp money coming in on the Orioles, and that's why it's only moved 10 cents. Sharp money coming in on the under. Tricky. Kikuchi only went 2/3 of an inning last out. The Orioles don't hit lefties, though. 231, 659 OPS. The Blue Jays are smashing righties. Not season long, 255, 749 OPS, but over the last few weeks, over this 13-4 run, just destroying righties. Orioles bullpen being good all year. 3.35 ERA, 1.26 whip. Blue Jays bullpen, 3.92 ERA, 1.22 whip. Take it away here, Pistol Pete. Orioles, Blue Jays.
Okay, that money analysis that you just told me surprises me a little bit, because my thought is that if someone's liking the Orioles, and they probably would like the over as well, expecting a good start from Lyles here is I'm not sure what people are seeing. This is, again, we talked about before about the losses, Jimmy the Bag. You got to bet size appropriately. That's so important, so important. And it's when you bet size appropriately and you have a losing day and you realize that everything's fine, that's when you know you're really doing the right thing. So I did bet this one. I bet sized appropriately, though, so if it loses, that's okay. I just took a modest shot with the first 3 over 2.5. My numbers indicate that both of these starters are vulnerable. Higher confidence with Lyle's vulnerability than with Kikuchi's vulnerability, but still vulnerability with Kikuchi as well. And Baltimore should be better against lefties than they are. And so I took a shot with the first 3 over 2.5. And as far as liking Baltimore here, yeah, I can understand that. And as far as liking the under, that makes me scratch my head a little bit. And I guess someone's thinking that Lyle's going to have a better start than his numbers, at least the numbers I look at, would indicate. But, I would lean first 5 over and a little bit more first 3 over.
But you're not making the first 3 official?
No, I will make it official. What the hell? I will make it official. Jimmy the Bag, you follow Toronto pretty closely, don't you? The Blue Jays. What? Give me a few thoughts on Kikuchi. Just the first few thoughts that come to mind.
I think he's the toughest person for us to really analyze. When we made the move for him, I was like, well, they must see something in Kikuchi. Probably the same stuff that the experts thought about him when they first brought him over to Seattle. We remember his dad died in that first year, and he just kind of crumbled. Then last year, remember, he gets off to that great start in the first half of the season. So and then he got to be in the All-Star game, right?
He's one of these guys who he's constantly getting shelled and then making an adjustment, and all of a sudden he's lights out, and that lasts for a while, and then all of a sudden he gets shelled again, makes another adjustment. I think I've read more about Kikuchi adjustments than any other starting pitcher in the past year or so, and they really pay off in the short term.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, totally. And so I imagine that the Jays brass saw what he did in the first half of the season and thought, we can replicate that here in Toronto. And then they did. For what? For 6 starts, maybe 7 starts. And then you're right. So
the question is, are we going to get that good Kikuchi or that nasty Kikuchi? And I think it's worth a shot that we're going to get the nasty Kikuchi. And if you do get good Kikuchi, you might get bailed out easily with Lyles getting shelled as well. Despite the fact that Toronto's off a big scoring win, Lyles, statistically, forgetting about what happened yesterday, is very vulnerable against the Toronto lineup. So let's make it official, Jimmy the Bag. First 3 over 2.5 at minus 125. That's the current line at Will Hill. Hopefully we get some not so nice Kikuchi today. And if we do, hopefully get bailed out by Lyles getting touched.
Well, let's talk about a couple of things here. We have some questions. The first one, Hunter makes a statement, and it leads us into the question that we wanted to ask you last week that Sammy remembered. So first off, Hunter says, I look to back a guy after a rough start and target that a lot, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy coming off a start where he couldn't find the plate is a stay away the next start, which leads us into the question: how do you decide to fade a pitcher off a bad start or to trust them?
Well, that's an excellent question. It is obviously pitcher specific. The factors that he said he looks at matter a lot. The many things matter. The pitch count matters. The situation matters. Was it a start at Coors where the guy just doesn't pitch well at Coors? Was it a start against a big lineup that is finding their groove again, and it was like a good weather for hitting? Was there an excuse for the last start? And a great thing to do is just to sort of make notes if you have a real feeling for what happened in a certain start with a pitcher about what to expect from him next start. There might be a guy who is off a bad start, but it was forgivable for one reason or another, and you expect him to be much better in his next start. Or if it wasn't forgivable, then maybe you want to keep fading him until he either goes on the DL or gets demoted. And people look at things like spin rates. For another good example of this, Jimmy the Bag, we talked about it on this show, right? Walker Buehler, right? Bunch of bad starts this year. I was not looking to bet on him after his bad starts. I thought there was something fundamental with him. Not that he was necessarily shitty all of a sudden, but definitely closer to mediocre than we have seen from him in past years all of a sudden. So Buehler's an example of someone who was giving some bad starts consecutively, and I was not looking to fade him after a bad start. And I don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Hendricks the rest of the year, but if he has a bad start, I'm not necessarily looking to bet on him after a bad start. So it's very pitcher specific. The ups and there's a lot of variance in baseball, and if variance contributes to someone having a bad start, then that is something you expect to even out going forward. And yeah, I look at all that. I look at walk rate. Yes, definitely wildness is something that, like, until it gets fixed, assume that it's going to continue for sure. How was that?
That was an excellent answer, and there's more questions we have and want to talk about, but we have to stop everything because one of our brothers, one of our fam, is having a tough time right now. Bad weekend says found out that his brother passed on Friday. Lamont Williams, our guy who's had our back since we started. I'm so sorry, to hear that, Lamont. It just seems like life can just be unrelenting and just with no compassion, just fucking hammers so hard sometimes. And thinking about you and just the only thing I guess to say really is that your family's so lucky that they have you and your strong shoulders to rely on to help them get through this very, very tough time. And my thoughts are with you, thinking about your family, man. And fuck, man, it's just so fucking tough, man. It just seems to never fucking end, this shit, And so as much love as I could possibly send your way, Lamont, all of us here. You're such a great guy, class act, and we all love you so much. So I'm so sorry to hear you're in pain, and just know that we're right with you. And anytime you want to get away from everything and just come here and cap, we're always have open arms for you, my man.
Yeah, Lamont Williams. Shout out to Lamont Williams. Great guy for many, many years. Very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, fuck, man. Just fucking. Ugh. Okay, so about the Walker Buehler thing, I should have known better, and I bet him. It's not only that I bet him on Friday, first 5 full game. It was that I was like, he's going to bounce back in this division game. I hate when I'm so confident on a play and a belief, and then of course Noli says it might be Tommy John surgery. We know he's out now for a couple months. They're deciding on whether it should be Tommy John surgery. I should have, and even everybody in the chat was like, look at his movement is down so much.
Right.
And I wasn't. That is a perfect example of me not listening and being thick-headed and just bullying my way through a spot instead of really listening. And then it cost me money, and that made me really angry. And then part of my anger about the Dodgers did come out Saturday night, and that was probably part of it.
The other side of that would be if you have someone like Adam Wainwright, who is just a veteran who knows how to, get through a season and bounce back after a start. If you see him with one of those 6-inning, 4-run starts or something like that, didn't get many strikeouts, just a bad night for him. And there's no, that's the kind of a guy that I would be looking to bet on after a subpar start.
And another question from Michael Irvelina here quickly. Do you expect this Yankees team to regress back to a mean, or is their pitching staff almost create a situation where they're not really vulnerable to losing streaks?
The Yankees?
Yeah.
I see no. I mean, we'll take it week by week and month by month. I can bring up my numbers, but yeah, all signs are go. And I've actually my numbers indicated that I should have been betting them a lot more than I actually have, because kind of like you staying off of Toronto yesterday, Jim, I held myself off of situations where they were a big favorite, where my numbers indicated that I should have bet them anyway, just for no reason other than I don't trust my numbers 100%. And turned out that the numbers are right and I was wrong. So yeah, from a statistical standpoint, no reason to believe that the Yankees will, unless they get hit with some serious injuries, a lot of them, to not continue. I mean, they're very deep. They're very deep.
Sharpie says Walker Buehler has elbow tendonitis. No Tommy John needed. He says his velocity was there. He was overthrowing in bullpen sessions because his last few starts were short. Should be back for the All-Star break.
Right, but there were fundamental reasons to believe that he was not an elite pitcher.
And I have this vividness bias of one. There was an article that came out in the last 24 hours how he's one of the best pitchers in the history of the sport over his first 100 starts. And I have this vividness bias, and I was like, no, fuck, he's the best. I just got it. There were so many mistakes in my double up on the Dodgers, and it's not that I lost the bet; it's just how confident I was going into it. So, okay, let's move on. That was fun. Rays, Yankees, and Orioles, Blue Jays are in the books here, and I've not moved on either. Pete's on the Loshak Pete's on the first 3 over 2.5 in Orioles, Blue Jays.
Minus 125. You got the line, Jim?
Yes, I do. Minus 125. And man, we love you, Lamont. The guys had our back since the very beginning. And your max bets. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your max bets. I mean, that was one of the first must know plays of the day from our chat when we got started working together. Pete, was Lamont's max bet. So people would just come in and go, "What is, what's Lamont's max bet?" That's man. You're such a great capper, and we're thankful to have you in our fam, man. Not that any of these words are going to do any help with what you're going through, but at least you can know that there's a group of cappers that love you, man. And all right, let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago White Sox 28-31, 15-14 on the road at the Detroit Tigers. 24-36, 16-18 at home. Okay. It's okay, Max, but this is the right game now that's on the screen. The White Sox Tigers, Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. And my first instinct was, God, I know how bad Drew Hutchinson is, but it's just a bullpen day for the Tigers. And let's not get caught up in my vividness at what a bum Drew Hutchinson is. 79 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.9 miles per hour in, goes down to 7.5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history here in Detroit. White Sox, little AL Central battle. Opened up with the White Sox minus 180. They're now minus 185. And the total dropped to 7.5 from 8. So we have 7.5 here. Take a look at the cash flow in this. And this is, so I told you that and Michael Irvelina, my whole week last week was sort of around bouncing back from my huge losses in Preakness Day. So I kind of spent the whole week just really thinking about the thoroughbreds and focusing on horses as much as I possibly could. So I have not dove deeper into where Sports Insights gathers, and I'm sure it's multifaceted, but where they gather their line value on. But I already told you the A's have the full value, Texas Rangers half value, and the Tigers and Drew Hutchinson have the other half value. There's just 3,076 tickets in. 28% of tickets are on the Tigers and 75% of cash. 43% of tickets on the under, 75% of cash on the under, and it's moved towards the under. So that's all making sense. Topset says, listen to me. Time to jump on the White Sox wagon. This is just like the Lightning situation where I think I'm going to be right with my bet on the White Sox to win the division. But I was 3 weeks too early. And I got minus 140. And when I made the bet with Slatsy, we both made it at the same time, same day, on the Lightning to win the conference in the Stanley Cup. If I had have waited a month or 3 weeks, I would have got double digits to win the Stanley Cup. There was a plus 1,200 at one point for the Lightning when they played so bad. Fireside says Cease was money early in the season. He's hanging, breaking, and misplacing fastballs the past few starts. Billy Friedrich, White Sox team totals 8-2 to the over the last 10. And Saturated says, I can't bet the White Sox till they dump Tony. So let's break down Cease. He's not looked very good of late, especially his last start. 4 2/3, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, no homers, 8 Ks, 3 walks, an 11-9 loss at home to the Dodgers. But his overall season records are great. 89 Ks in 63 innings, 3.14 ERA, 1.33 whip. Then you have Drew Hutchinson, who is 15 Ks and 12 walks in 15 2/3. And he hasn't started a game here, with the bullpen day yet this year. But he's doing it here. In his last appearance, he allowed a hit in the 6-0 loss at the A's. Just a hit, no runs or anything. White Sox are hitting 236.23 OPS versus righties. I mean, that sounds abysmal, but it's not as bad as the Tigers, who are hitting 211, 582 OPS. The White Sox are third last, and the Tigers are last against righties. Or the A's. I can't remember now. Sorry, barely sleeping. White Sox bullpen, 4.38 ERA, 1.41 whip. Tigers bullpen's been elite all season long. 2.91 ERA, 1.13 whip. Sharpie says, this was an easy bet for me. Cease over 7.5 strikeouts. It says full breakdown on Twitter. Well, okay, I'll check that out for sure. I'll copy and paste this so I remember, and I will retweet that. He says Cease owns these Tigers. 8 strikeouts in every start versus Tigers without back-to-back, and their numbers are terrible last 15. Let's hear what Pistol Pete has to say about this about White Sox Tigers.
Well, first of all, I don't have my I left my friggin' up-to-date file on my other computer, so this is my file from last week's show. But I would not say that I'm too excited about the Tigers bullpen. I would not rate them as elite. I would rate them as pretty middle of the pack. But I do need to update my numbers from last week. Yeah, Cease is we were talking about fading guys off of, or betting on guys off of bad starts, or continuing to fade them. And Cease is definitely having some serious control issues, although his overall numbers are great. And of course, as people have been talking about, Detroit is just a legitimately bad offensive team against righties. And now you got, I'm going to be way off of this game. There's no way I can bet a team with Cease's wildness issues as this big of a favorite on the road, even against Detroit. I think that your bet on the White Sox futures is quite defensible. Right now, I'm still not too high on them. We'll have to see what happens when Anderson and Jimenez come back. The White Sox there's something a little bit wrong with them, and I think that they might get a Phillies-esque boost if La Russa gets fired. We'll see what happens. Right at this moment, I'm a little bit uncertain about the White Sox. Loath to bet them as a big road favorite. Can't pull the trigger on Detroit right now, but this is a spot that I just kind of want to stay off of.
Yeah, I understand. My initial thought was Drew Hutchinson's such a bum, and then I realized, wait a minute, he's going to be in there for one inning. Okay, he can get through an inning.
Yeah, but I mean, the Drew Hutchinson's a bum. The entire fucking team is a bunch of bums, Jimmy. Look at you think he's a bum? Look at the rest of the team, man. It's a bunch of fucking. That's a sad team there, Jim.
I love the staff.
The staff's great. The staff is great. The staff ain't playing.
With the White Sox bet, and we thought Eloy Jimenez was going to be back earlier. He got hurt again in his rehab, and then they brought up Yohan Moncada from IL, and then he didn't play for 5 games. So that's when I moved when they brought Yohan Moncada up from IL, and I thought Eloy Jimenez was going to be back within the week, and that all kind of.
Billy Friedrich says, remember when a lot of people were picking Tigers to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season? Yes, they were definitely trying, and I do in the back of my mind have my eye out for maybe Detroit being one of those horrible teams that has good or great betting value in September.
Yeah. Noli says they have a good bullpen and can't hit. And Saturated says can't trust Eloy to ever play a full season. Billy Friedrich talking about Kopech getting injured over the weekend. All right. And Armchair saying Moncada isn't it right now from what I am seeing. All right. That is White Sox Tigers. And I think that Sharpie's talking about listening. Sharpie's breakdown on Cease is what has taken me off of the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll allow that to happen and keep moving. All right, we move on to
Jensen says Cease only getting touched up by good offenses. Yeah, I could easily see him coming back here, having an excellent start, and then his next start, we can check the schedule, he gets shellacked again.
Let's move on to the next spot on the board, Milwaukee Brewers at New York Mets. And that takes us to none other than our man Ron Crawford's play of the day. C. James in the house. What's happening? D. Jenkins is on White Sox first 5 -1/2. And Billy Friedrich says Breu Roberts' bats are heating up. Burger's still white hot. Same for Vaughn. Vaughn's a beast. You know that. Let's talk. Brewers, Mets, Citi Field in Queens, New York. We'll start with the weather. I'm sure it's just like the Bronx weather. 81 Fahrenheit, 3.5 miles per hour. Going in. It does move to out, though, but it's 3.9 miles per hour, so it's not a big deal, but it does move to out to left field. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this New York Mets spot. We have the Brewers opening up at plus 125. At 3 in the morning, they moved to plus 130. At 11:43 this morning, they moved to plus 135. So a 10-cent move towards the New York Mets. Take a look at the total. It opened up minus 115 to the under. There was a 5-cent move to the over, and then it came back at 11:30 this morning. So it's under 8 at minus 115. Then we'll take a look at the cash flow in this Brew Crew spot here. We have 5,548 tickets in, 69% of tickets on the Mets, 80% of cash on the Mets, 67% of tickets on the over, 88% of cash on the over. We already heard from Dommy Gun Ricci, who knows this team inside and out, and he's going to be at the game this evening. And Dommy Gun says, have a great day, guys. I got the kids on Tuesday. I'll be listening. That's what he says. But he says, my plays are locked in. He's on Cards game 1, first 5, under 5. Mets over 8. He's also on the Baltimore team total over 3.5. Padres minus 133. But the Mets over 8. And when he said that, you seem to agree with the idea there, Pete, when I was reading your body language. Let's talk about this spot, Hauser versus Bassett. So I was on the first 5 under in Hauser's last start, and Hauser got lit up and smoked, and I lost it. And he looked bad. And then this is another mistake, and I especially when I'm not sleeping, I need to say the mistakes out loud, so I remember making them. I've made money off Hauser this year. And so I think I was just going back to the Hauser well, not because the numbers indicated that was the smartest move, just because I thought that Hauser was undervalued at home, and I was right. And it is fucking bullheaded bullshit that cost me money in that last start. He's not looked good of late, and he should not be trusted, and he probably shouldn't be trusted on the road. And this move to the Mets makes sense, and maybe I should jump in here, but there's also some concern on Bassett at home, which I really want to hear your thoughts on. So Hauser's last start, 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 jacks, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 10-0 loss at home to Philly. Bassett last start was ugly, a 13-2 loss at the Padres, 3 1/3, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned runs. But 4.35 ERA, 1.24 whip on the year with 74 Ks and 68 and a third. Viper just added the Mets -1. Maxwelly, yeah, of course you can ask. I use Sports Insights for where the money is on the games. Sports Insights. It's expensive, but if you can go in with a group, you can make it a little cheaper. Brewers versus righties, 238, 724 OPS. That makes sense to me. When the Brewers got so hot there and all of a sudden had a 765 OPS versus righties, it didn't make any sense to me. I look at this lineup and it's 1-9. There's no difference between the batters. They're all hitting 220. And I was like, how are they hitting righties? Now they're starting to fall off. The Mets versus righties is real. 272, 759 OPS. Both bullpens have almost the exact same numbers, which is strange. It's strange to see the bullpen for the Brewers at a 3.82 ERA, 1.23 whip. To think that the Tigers and the Braves and the Astros are a full run per 9 better than the Brewers bullpen is nuts. Mets bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.23 whip. Billy Friedrich says Hauser's splits are bad on the road, +5 ERA. Take it away here. Pistol, Pete, Loshak. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. And Tommy Gunn will be live and in person. Brewers, Mets.
Very interesting game. First, I want to give a shout out to Antoine Seymour. Shout out to Antoine Seymour. Okay, Jimmy the Bag, you guys can have a little laugh at this if you want. You know how you've been on Toronto pretty much every game since their winning streak started?
Yeah.
Well, I've been on Milwaukee pretty much every game since their losing streak started. I've been kind of snake bit with this team. I even had, when I get free plays, a lot of times I'll just do a big parlay, and if it loses, it loses. I had a big free play parlay going, and it would have won, except it was that game that Hader collapsed and blew like that. That was the last leg of my big parlay. And I was like, man, I'm snake bit with Milwaukee, but I'm going to throw them in this parlay anyway because the numbers like it and this and that. They're winning most of the game. I was like, all right, and then the friggin' save came. So I'm snake bit with Milwaukee. I think they should be a little bit better. With Renfroe back, that's a nice bat. It should be a nice bat in the lineup. I did take the over and the Milwaukee team total over here as well. I think that Bassett's struggles are probably somewhat fundamental right now. And regarding Hauser, Jimmy the Bag, again, it's a guy, he throws a sinker almost 50% of the time. And I tell you about these guys, sinker ballers tend to have a lot of volatility, and Hauser is the same. So whether you're betting on his starts or against them, try to take a dog line, try to take a -1 line or something because it comes with a lot of volatility. So, I like the over, bet it a little bit. I like the Milwaukee team total over as well, bet it a little bit. And maybe I will throw on the Milwaukee team total over, even though I've been so snake bit by this team. Bassett is struggling a bit right now, and I think that's probably a bit fundamental for him.
Yeah, that I lost that bet as well, and that was my best day of the year. Pete, I went 10-2 in MLB that day, and it could have been 11-1. Yeah,
me too. I had a parlay going.
The bet that I lost, the guys in the chat, I think it was Noli. It was Noli. I had the over. First 5 over in a Cardinals game when the Cardinals were going up against a lefty. And Noli wrote in the chat, he's like, it's been 3 straight starts that the Cardinals have not hit a lefty. And I was still kind of vividness of these numbers of them against lefties. And if I had have listened to Noli and Hader hadn't have screwed that over, it would have been an 11-0 a day. And that's when I did slap myself in the face. I was like, I've got to. How many times has Pete told us to listen? I could have easily gotten off that bet. But of course I just blew ahead of my fucking way through it. Are you going to make a move on? First off, why would you focus on the full game rather than the first 5 when we still do believe in these bullpens?
Why would I? No, I mean, I like both of them. I probably, I haven't bet the first 5 over yet, but let's see what we got. Yeah, 4 -125 at Heritage. Yeah, I like the first 5 over as well. Yeah, Jim.
I'm going to move on the first 5 over as soon as the show ends. What do you want to make official here?
I don't know. Let me just poke around a little bit. What is anyone saying anything illuminating?
Well, Billy Friedrich found some nice numbers. The over 8 full game at bookmakers -103, and the team total over 3.5 for the Brewers is -115.
Yeah, I'm seeing -110 at Will Hill here, and 3 is -155. That's all very tempting. I'll, you know what? I am snake bit with this Milwaukee team. I'm going to hold off on an official play for now. Maybe the end of the show, I'll throw something unofficial.
Okay. James Lill says, he's asking Billy about the under 9 St. Louis. That would be game 2, right? James Lill, the game 1 is 9.5, I believe. I'll have to. No, I should just do that right here. Game 1 is 9.5. Game 2 is 9. So can you just clarify which game that you're speaking of? I imagine you're talking about the one that's going to pop off here, but if you could let us know here. Roger that says tailing Pete on this over, feeling the over here. I love it, Top Set. There's Stimmy OG says the play today is Padres Cubs over 10.5. And Kyle Hintlian says Hauser is my fade this year with Corbin. Last year it was Bundy. By the way, we've had some great stuff by our producer Jose on our guy Bundy. This is now one of our Bundy days.
Nice. Hey,
Yeah,
I've been there.
okay. Let's get back to work. Isn't that beautiful? What great stuff. Okay, yeah, James Lowe talking about game one. Well, it's 9.5 right now, James Lowe, and the move is Loshak moved on the Pirates over 4 minus 118. So that's about I'm not on the game, so I can't push you in any direction. I can just tell you that I like Pete's look on Pirates team total over 4 at minus 118, but that's the only look from here. Anybody in the chat wants to help as well, fire away. Okay, let's keep rolling. We have the best producer in the business. And Pete, you should have seen how much fun he was last week with his bullish ways on the Celtics. And now everybody wants to hear what he has to say. Like he's like, what is Jose saying? Everybody's talking about Jose, asking about Jose. I see him backstage, and he's down. He's down. So, but he will make an appearance today on the show. Let me tell you that he will make an appearance today on the.
Hey Jim, you can throw on the first 5 over. I'm seeing minus 113 at Pinnacle. Milwaukee Mets first 5 over 4 minus 113. You could throw that one on there, sure.
I love that bet. If I could get minus 113, it would be immediate. But I'm still going to bet it.
That's a Pinnacle line there, boys.
All right, so Loshak, first 5 over. And my Pinnacle account is all confirmed. Customer confirmed, everything all good to go. So I'm just waiting for my futures cash to come in at the end of the year. I'll pop a couple K in there, and then I won't have to use Bet365 except for the lines, except for the futures. Because then I know why people don't want to have their money held up, but when you're dealing with credit, it's a little different. So yeah, Pinnacle will be up in Adam here in like.
I wonder how Pinnacle will react to your NHL bets, Jim. Will they move the line?
Look, I've had the same local for 15 years, so he's been not concerned. He's not being concerned. Has no concern over my NHL bets. But when I do get hot, I know that he does tail, so that does make me feel good. And there's times when I get hot. When someone watches your action for 15 years, they can start telling when you're seeing things clearly. I got
a text from my guy at Pinnacle watching the show. He's like, "No, we are not going to respond to Jimmy's action." Okay, there you go.
Yeah, they're not. They'll have no care. They'll have no
right.
Right? Tell you that. Okay. So I'm just going to put. So that's the only thing you've made official here is the first 5 over 4 minus 113. Ron Crawford has the spreadsheet play of the day. Let's go. Let's roll. And I'm going to tail that first 5 over 4. Okay, we roll on. Next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics at Boston Red Sox. Very interesting spot here because you have a pitcher. We talk about the fading these pitchers that come up at this time of the year. And here is a team that's spending $0. They're just trying to get to Vegas by any means necessary. And they brought up a lefty who was picked in the 35th round. I looked at I don't quote me, but I believe he was the 1,038th pick in that draft. And he had really good numbers in AAA Vegas. So he did earn his opportunity here. He's 28 years old, 4-2, 2.21 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. Look good in Vegas, and that's a tough league to pitch in. PCL, ball's flying in that park. And he has his first start at Atlanta, and he gets lit up and smoked. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, no homers, 3 Ks, and 2 walks, and a 13-2 loss at the Braves. Nick Pivetta on the other side. Slick Nick did not look good in his last start at the Angels. But when I say he didn't look good, I mean 6 hits, 4 earned runs, but 11 strikeouts and 2 walks. Now is 69 strikeouts and 66 2/3. 3.78 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. A's versus righties, 208, 594 OPS. So they are hitting better than the Tigers, right? Yeah, Tigers are 211, 582 OPS versus righties. The Red Sox versus lefties, 254, 744 OPS. A's bullpen, 4.57 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. Red Sox bullpen, 3.69 ERA, 1.20 WHIP. That's the situation. Let's just take a quick look at the market. 76 Fahrenheit, 6 miles per hour in, stays around there, and it's not straight in. It's left to right, but it's still in. We take a look at the line history in this one here. We have minus 225. The Red Sox opened at, and that is right where they stand. The total opened at under 9.5 at the pick'em. It's still right there. So you wonder why there's been no movement towards the Red Sox, and it's because part of the reason has to be because Sports Insights says that the A's have full line value, and they've been bet accordingly. 12% of the tickets are on the Oakland A's and 44% of the cash. That's with a decent sample size, 7,767 tickets. Then it's a coin flip for the total. 51% of tickets on the under, 44% of cash on the under. Take it away here, Pete. Very interesting. A's, Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be off it. My numbers said that the under had some value, so I kind of just blind bet it small, even though my gut said that seemed kind of weird. But I did bet the under small because my numbers like it. And I've had a good baseball. I've had a fine baseball season, but not nearly as good as it should have been. And I should have been pretty much auto fading Oakland for a while now. I did, like, after their last win against Cleveland, where they were up 10-5. I was all in on Cleveland the next game. Oakland is an extremely fadeable team and will continue to be, I think, until further notice. So it's possible I might be on Boston here. I don't know, but no play for me as of right now. And I did bet the under small. Definitely don't recommend anyone tail that, and I definitely do not want to make that official. But I did bet it.
Rob Free says, "Ain't no damn way I'm betting the A's. Says they will get swept in this series." Why do you think that they're seeing value in the A's in this spot, Pete? Can
value
you see what angle they would be?
A bunch of a few self-satisfied, know-it-all fucking nerds built some model that says, "Oh, the A's have value," and then they bet it, and there's your answer.
But let's talk about Koenig here. If Koenig gets lit up here, I would like to back him at home. I mean, those numbers he had in PCL were really nice, and then he comes up against this hot-hitting Braves team, and he gets lit up. The problem is these Red Sox are 254, 744 OPS versus lefties. I mean, it's not going to be an easier opportunity here at Fenway.
I'm always a little bit nervous betting an under at Fenway, especially when you got a starter like Koenig. Although the A's lineup is okay to bet unders with. I bet the under 9.5, Jim.
We have that. It's important to saturate to. I need to find out exactly what, but I mean here it's clear that there is a perceived line value, whatever line value is. I'm basing it off the fact that there's 12% of the tickets and 44% of cash on this baseball team. I'd like to know what Sports Insights bases theirs off of, and probably the same type of models that Pete is just talking about. Jose has a reason for this movement here.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have him come up live on the show. Would he like to wait, though? He can wait if he wants. He's going to wait. He's going to wait. He's going to wait. He's going to wait. So build up the excitement. But he says cross-country road trip back home for the Sox after a very successful West Coast road trip. There it is. And we have a great stat from McSchnizzle. Where is it? I missed it. Oh, there. A's off a rest day are 0-6. Wow. All right. Billy Friedrich says the difference in percentage of bets and overall money is how they figure the line. No, I don't think so, Billy Friedrich, because I think that they have I think that the models are all saying it, and that's why there's bets coming in on it. I don't think it's just them looking at the tickets that are coming in, because they'll have the implied line value when there's 800 tickets in, and the tickets haven't told the story yet. But that's how we get it, or how I see it, I should say. Okay, let's keep rolling. No action for us.
You know what, Jim? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. Maybe it'll cash, and then people be like, "Damn, that was a slick call there, Loshak." You can give me the under 9.5 at -104. Current line at Pinnacle. Oakland, Boston, under 9.5 -104.
Under 9.5 -104. But Billy Friedrich, it's not the right answer. It's not the best answer. I wish I could give a better answer than that and know exactly what the models, But clearly, it's a bunch of advanced models seeing the same thing, sort of what Pete indicated. Okay, Loshak is locked in on the under 9.5. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. On that day, on your last Tuesday here, when you went 5-2, but you were. I said it to everybody I had some other show, and I was like, God, Pete was on today. Like, I could just tell the way you were capping that you were on. You had mentioned the A's getting out of Oakland Coliseum, and they were in Atlanta. I believe it was Atlanta, and they scored 2 runs in the first inning. And I was like, man, Pete is just on it right away.
And I will tell you, it was about that time that I hit my high water mark on my my bankroll this year. I can tell you right now, we're at low tide right now, Jimmy the Bag, but still doing all right. But just so everyone's aware of it, we're at low tide right now.
Well, let's keep rolling here. And Eric Jones saying, yeah, his model says A's plus 1.5 is a play, but he's not touching it. Viper will lead us into the next spot. Oh, and top set looking at Red Sox team total over as well. Joseph Gomez says Jose's looking to buy a couple cows for the steaks he has to pay out to Daryl. Viper says Astros offense garbage. North Ender says they believe the A's will win more than 35.1% of the time. Therefore, there is value. D. Jenkins says A's are 14-18 as a road dog. They definitely put better on the road. Still don't care. Viper says I'm not betting them until they get hot. He lost yesterday on the Astros -1. And Nick Schnizzle says I like it, Elio, a.k.a. Buck Knife. This was the hat that old Buck Knife gave me, Pete, when we were in San Antonio. Oh, Buck Knife. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Astros, Rangers, Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Urquidy versus Dane Dunning. Man, Urquidy has been bad. Sammy Comer on Rangers money line. Julian Cesario on the other side with Houston money line. And North Ender saying that plus 185 is 35.1% win probability. Urquidy 5-3, 5.04 ERA, 1.59 WHIP, 55 and a third, 43 Ks, 12 walks, and 11 home runs. It is 100 at first pitch, and it's windy. I imagine that means the roof will be closed. I wonder if roof is closed today.
I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're expecting the roof to be closed here in Texas with this Urquidy Dunning face-off. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. Urquidy Dunning. There's been a 5-cent move to the Texas Rangers. They opened up at plus 110. They moved to plus 105. The total opened up at 9, juiced to the under. It did move to a pick'em, but now it's 8.5, slightly juiced to the over. Take a look at the cash. This is another spot. Remember I said how the Rangers have half line value, 5,182 tickets in. It's been happening all day. 20% of the tickets on the Rangers and 55% of the cash. 45% of the tickets on the over and 70% of the cash. It must be saying that maybe Dunning isn't great. Dunning is decent, but he's better than Urquidy has been of late. Urquidy's last start, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 4 walks, and a 6-3 loss home versus the Mariners. Dunning's last start, 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, no homers, 1 K, no walks, and a 4-0 loss at the Guardians. Astros versus righties, 243, 737 OPS. Vipers right, that number is dropping. Rangers versus righties, 233, 659 OPS. They've been bad against righties all year. Astros bullpen, 2.74 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. Rangers bullpen, 3.46 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. Here we go, Pete. Astros, Rangers. What do you think here?
This is a really tough one. Yesterday, I was big on Houston first 5 team total over, which cashed. But then I also had them full game team total over, and I also had them -1, and both of those lost. I was very surprised to come back for my activities yesterday and see that the team total over and Houston -1 had both lost. And Urquidy, I think I'm going to pass on this one. There's a bunch of reasons here. First of all, the way Texas won that game yesterday, they're a team with some energy and some life and some spark and some spunk and some gumption and all that. They're not giving up. They're manufacturing wins. They're not like one of these teams that's just sitting around and waiting to string together a bunch of huge barrel at bats. And if they get them, they win. If they don't, whatever. They're running and manufacturing runs and all that stuff, which means a lot more in today's version of baseball than it did a few years ago. And Urquidy is a guy that in general I'm looking to fade, but for whatever reason, he pitches very well against Texas, and even this year. He's been very fadeable this year, except for that one start against Texas this year, which was great. I mean, that was at home. This is on the road, but still, and Dunning in general is pretty vulnerable. So I think as of right now, I'm going to pass on this one. I have no bet on it, and I guess I'm probably going to pass.
I was leaning towards the Rangers' first 5, but you're saying that Urquidy's success
I
in
mean,
that start.
that might be just due to complete variance, but it's like Urquidy is like, he's a guy that and probably in his next start, I didn't even check who it is, but who it's against, but he's a guy that I'm looking to fade, but it's just for whatever reason, we talk about this in NHL, like, well, how much does that really matter? I'm not exactly sure, but even this year, he just had a great start against Texas, so I'm just going to stay off it.
Well, I guess I was leaning towards Rangers' first 5, but I guess I'll fill that with question marks now and not add it.
But I mean, Dunning is very vulnerable, and someone said that Houston has an ass lineup. I'm not sure what they're looking at because I have him as overall a notch higher than Texas right now.
Definitely. The Viper just saying that they've been poor of late, I believe.
Right.
Okay.
And Texas has life, and this is when you have this series, that life usually comes to matter. People don't they don't give up. So I'm going to pass. Tough.
Okay, I think that you will talk me off of the spot I was moving on. So my whole plan, there's T-Mac in the house. What up, T-Mac? Raise first 5, team total over 1.5 for T-Mac. Coming to us from Belleville, Ontario. Gokster's hometown. Nice to have Alex Ramirez in the house. Love the man. Okay, Padres, Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to move on the Padres here. And I got very cold feet, and I get it. When I'm looking at the Padres versus righties, 231, 653 OPS, when looking at this difficult weather situation here, humid, 89 Fahrenheit at first pitch in Chicago, but it feels like 96, and it's 12.7 miles per hour out to center. I thought maybe Hendricks will be able to handle this better than Manaea. Maybe he's just used to these situations, but it was not until I saw the cash flow and the market. This certainly would have been a bet I would have made 3 years ago. But we have a 5-cent move to the Padres. 5 cents. The total's gone up a full run from 9.5 to 10.5. A 5-cent move to the Padres. And here we are with, where is it here? The 4,451 tickets in. 12% of the tickets are on the Cubs and 50% of the cash. And I've just chosen not to go up against these models in these situations. Now, of course, they're not always right, and they're not always going to win, but it's helped me just staying off of it when these situations arise, and that's what I've done. Now, Dommy Gunn didn't stay off of it. He stuck, to the plan. Also, 63% of the tickets are on the over and 87% of the cash. It's gone up a full run. Lotus Scalper is on Padres money line and the under. Julian Cesario is trying to lower volume and up the unit size, been working so far. Houston money line, Padres money line, Braves run line. Billy Friedrich looking at the Cubs first 5. Nice to have Alex Ramirez says took a break and he's back. Star of the Spidey play of the day. Manaea 3-3, 3.52 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 71 Ks in 69 innings. His last start, he went 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and the 13-2 win at home versus the Mets. Hendricks coming off an okay start, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 K, 1 walk, and the 4-3 extra inning winning home versus the Brewers. The Cubs are hitting 239, 710 OPS versus lefties, and I already talked about the Padres' struggles versus righties. The Padres bullpen 3.60 ERA, 1.13 WHIP. Cubs 4.25 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Really want to hear your breakdown on this one, Pete. Take it away, Padres, Cubs.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, in general, I'm down on Hendricks in general, and looking to fade him most of the time, especially since the Cubs don't really back him up that well. But this spot, and Manaea is, I would definitely a notch better than Hendricks, but he's just serviceable. Nothing special about him particularly. He can be vulnerable, and so I just took a no-brainer play on the over when it came out, and we can make the first half over an official play as well. I'm seeing 5.5 minus 115. We can make that one official. Pods Cubs first half over 5.5 minus 115. And I'd be leaning full game over in both first 5 team total overs as well. And it just my numbers indicate that it's a little bit more coin flippy than the market is giving it credit for here. with the Cubs as a dog. Although, again, I'm pretty down on Hendricks in general, and I don't necessarily like this spot for him. But I'll just make the first 5 over an official play. 5.5 minus 115.
Billy Friedrich found it at minus 104 for you at Bookmaker.
5.5 minus 104. Really?
Yeah.
At Bookmaker. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll give you that. Gas Report giving Mania 7-3 to the over. I can't. Maybe this is something that keeps me from being a better capper, but I can't do the full switch. And I mean, I wish I did. And if I did do the full switch when I get talked off a play, just completely switch over to the other side, I'd have a winning ROI. I'd have a positive ROI doing that. But I can't do it here. I do have some trepidation with backing Hendricks, and I don't want to do it. And I don't want to do the full switch. So my whole plan was Padres first 5 full game. I've left it, and I will continue. I'll just leave it alone. And we have Pistol Pete Loshak on the over 5.5 at minus. And
you know what? I think I might even throw on run in the first inning. Yes. I think that one of the, let's see, where are we? Minus 143. That's a little juicy, but I think we can throw that one on. We can throw that one. Run in first inning minus 143. If it loses, it loses. Whatever.
Yes, run first inning for Pete. We move on. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Cleveland Guardians 29-27, 13-17 on the road. The Colorado Rockies 27-34, 16-16 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Bieber versus Senzatella. We'll start with the weather in Colorado. 89 Fahrenheit, 11.9 miles per hour across the diamond, left to right, slightly in. And by the 2 hours into the game, it becomes almost fully in. Still a little left to right, but becomes almost fully in. That is the weather here. Let's take a look at the line history in this spot. Bieber Senzatella. It's a 20-cent move towards the Guardians. They opened up at minus 150. They're now minus 170. Take a look at the total. It opened up at 11. It dropped to 10.5 at 2:20 in the morning, and it's come back to 11, although it is slightly juiced to the under. Let's see what the money says in this one. Very slight line value, more than a sliver. Slight line value to the Rockies here. But this is the first spot on the board where we've seen that value not being followed by the betting public. 30% of the tickets are on the Rockies and just 12% of the cash. So not following suit there. 39% of the tickets on the over and 52% of cash on that over. Billy Friedrich says Rockies first 5 for me. Takes the Cleveland bullpen out of it. Viper says Cleveland -1 is my favorite play today. Cleveland -1 is my favorite play today. Let's talk about Bieber. 3-3, 2.91 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, 68 Ks in 65 innings. He's not the dominant Cy Young winner of the past, but he's pitching well. Last start, 4 1/3, 3 hits, no earned run, 6 Ks, no walks, and a 4-0 win at home versus the Rangers. Senzatella coming off a really nice start in San Francisco. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk, 4.83 ERA, 1.85 WHIP on the year. It's interesting to see him throw 6 strikeouts in 6 innings in his last start against the Giants because he's not being able to strike anybody out all year. He went into that start with 14 strikeouts in 35 innings. Now he's got 20 Ks and 9 walks, but he's only allowed 3 home runs in his 41 innings. Guardians versus righties, 256, 728 OPS. Rockies versus righties, 247, 687 OPS. Guardians bullpen elite, 2.98 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. Rockies bullpen's been very bad, 4.96 ERA, 1.41 WHIP, which means the Rockies allow 1.98 more runs per 9 from their bullpen than the Guardians. Now, part of that is just thin air in Coors Field, Colorado. Take it away here for us, Pete. Guardians, Rockies.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. There's a lot of conflicting factors, and in a lot of games today, that is we're seeing that. I haven't bet it yet, but I was looking to bet on Colorado. I didn't pull the trigger yet, and I don't like betting on Senzatella because his peripherals are pretty shitty right now. And I didn't pull the trigger because I suspected, and I was correct, that the line will move significantly in Cleveland's favor. The issue, I think, is this is Bieber's first start at Coors, I believe. I believe that I'm correct about that, right, Jim?
I did not realize that. First ever start there.
I'm pretty sure that is correct and that is accurate. I suspect that he will not take to Coors particularly well. And as the line creeps up, I'm liking Colorado more and more. Although, as Billy Friedrich said, there is a huge bullpen edge for Cleveland. So maybe taking Colorado on the first 5 is the way to go. Although that strikes me as insane to take a game started by Senzatella on the first 5. But yeah. So, we'll see what happens tonight, and then I might be all over Cleveland tomorrow or the next day. It's hard to say, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. As of right now, though, I'm leaning Colorado. The people leaning Cleveland, I can understand, but the line is creeping up and up and up, and I'm suspecting that Bieber might not take to Coors quite as well as he takes to other ballparks or as other pitchers do.
Wow, that is a fascinating breakdown.
I mean, he's a big slider and curve guy. He almost never throws a changeup or a cutter. So, this might not be a great situation for him.
Wow. It was a...
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I would like to dive a little deeper into Senzatella's splits here. He's always... What were you say?
He sucks. Senzatella sucks. I mean, look at whatever you want to look at, Jim. Trust me, your conclusions will be that he sucks.
Antonio Senzatella here. We'll take a look at his full splits. Colorado. And yeah, 3 runs better at home. Wow. You guys. So now he's not getting hit hard. But look at the opponent's batting average. Wow. 396 at home they're hitting off him, but just 2 home runs. That's just nuts. Okay.
You know what? I'll put my money where my mouth is just a little bit. Jim the bag. And I think there's volatility involved here. We can take I'm seeing it at Heritage right now. We'll take Colorado -1 plus 218. We'll make that official.
Rockies -1 at plus 218.
Yeah.
One could go as far as saying that's the Coors Field fate. Right there.
It's just if I like taking volatility, taking -1 lines in games involving Cleveland because of the pen situation, right? You don't want to be 1-run games. Close games are games where teams with significant edges in the bullpen matter a lot. So yeah. Hopefully, Bieber will come in, get hit unexpectedly hard. Senzatella's okay. 6-3, maybe 6 innings, 3 runs, and we'll take Colorado at a 7-3 win, something like that. We'll see. We'll see how it turns.
That adds another level of interest to this spot. Nice Nathan, I think Pete could do the news for NBC Brooklyn.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I'll make a fucking audition tape of clips from this show. I'll be like, look at that. Hire me. Hire this guy. I'll even Brooklyn it up more if you want.
Sure.
Whatever you need, fucko.
No, it is not blowing out. El Dorado Custodian is left to right, 11.9 miles per hour. I should probably refresh this, see if it changes here. But 11.9 miles per hour and dies down to 8.4, but or 8.2 now that I've refreshed it. Okay, let's keep rolling. Oh, he wants the camel hair jacket, though. You still have it, right?
I don't think so. I think that got lost in the shuffle. Yeah.
D. Jenkins says Pete would be a great actor. We all know this. Yes.
Yeah. I could do Shakespeare too, baby. I could do Shakespeare. I could do fucking mob guys. What the fuck you need?
9:40 p.m. Eastern next. Cincinnati Reds 22-39, 10-22 on the road at the Arizona Diamondbacks 29-34, 14-17 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, and we can guarantee, right, that the roof is closed. I don't need to look it up. It's probably 110 there. Tyler Molly.
Shakespeare, Jim.
Sorry, my friend.
I do one line. Shakespeare.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now is the winter of our discontent. May glorious summer by the son of York. All right, go ahead. Arizona, Cincinnati, Jim.
No, how can we continue? We need more of this, man. Do you have a skull in the house? I need a skull for that monologue to be complete.
Billy Friedrich, chick flicks? Hell yeah, sure. MILF flicks? No problem.
There you have there's a comedian, professional comedian in the chat, David Burke, said that you were incredible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That really fucking means a lot to me. When the pros recognize you, that really fucking means something. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and anybody want to check out David Burke, just type his name in YouTube right now. Saturated says, D-backs cost me some coin last night. Tonight they have Zach Davies on the mound. Don't judge him with an eye test because you will think that you can hit him. 2-3, 4.21 ERA, 1.24 whip, 50 Ks in 62 innings. There's more Ks than usual. Last out, 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-4 win at these very Reds. Molly's last start was at home versus these Diamondbacks, and he was very good. Very good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, solo shot, 10 Ks, and 2 walks. But he's a 5.07 ERA, 1.36 whip on the season. He's not been good. Reds versus righties, 236, 684 OPS. Nasty Nick says, what kind of question is that, Jim? Of course he has multiple skills.
Shout out to Nasty Nate. Of course, Jim. I don't have him on camera. Or maybe I should. Maybe I should put him in the background.
Of course he's got multiple skulls in his house. Oh, that got me. Okay. Diamondbacks versus righties, 216, 693 OPS. Reds bullpen 5.08 ERA, 1.44 whip. Diamondbacks bullpen 4.41 ERA, 1.41 whip. Back-to-back starts for each of these pitchers, says Noli Knows. Very curious to hear how Noli is going to handle this one. Let's take a look at the line history and see if that takes us anywhere here. It hasn't moved. There was a 5-cent move to the Diamondbacks at 3:22 a.m. It's come back. So it's just exactly where it started with the Diamondbacks as minus 120 favorites. And this total is at 9, minus 120 to the under. So let's go over to the cash here. A tiny sliver of value to the Reds. But the betting public does not agree. 47% of tickets are on the Reds, but just 16% of the cash. Then 61% of tickets to the over, 72% of cash to that over. Reds, Diamondbacks, Chase Field, Molly Davies, take it away.
Yeah, God, this is so tough because Arizona. I did have Cincinnati yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit of a bounce back day for me, considering what happened the days before. And one of my plays was Cincinnati, despite the fact they had such a shitty starting pitcher. And Arizona has, by my rankings, an even slightly worse pen than Colorado. Arizona, by my rankings, has well, I guess maybe KC has a worse pen, but Arizona is a very tough team to bet on, especially as any kind of a favorite because of the bullpen. So I had Cincinnati yesterday. I don't know if I want to take Arizona here. Numbers indicate that Arizona would be the way to go. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I might by first pitch, but yeah, I think my numbers indicate that it's probably going to be a better than average day against Molly for Arizona. So maybe I might first 5 or first 15 total over, but haven't bet it yet, Jim.
And Molly has not continued those excellent road numbers of last year. We would talk about how he was the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball last year, and we were able to make a lot of money off of him. That has not been the case this year. He has been tricky to figure out. He's been bad at home, and he's been bad on the road. There's no help there. 5.18 ERA on the road, 223 opponents batting average, 5.01 ERA, 241 opponents batting average at home. He's not been
although good. Based on overall year numbers, it's a wash with Davies though.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And I'd prefer if I had to bet on a game, I would, prefer to have Molly on the bump than Davies.
Very slightly, yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And a question from Saturated says, does Pete enjoy LARPing in his spare time? Do you LARP?
Here and there, sure. I sneak up on 4chan once in a while and do a little sideways LARP. Absolutely, baby.
9:45 p.m. Eastern. Next up, we made no moves in Reds, Diamondbacks, Kansas City Royals.
Actually, Jim, you know what? I'll take Arizona first 5. I'll take that as an official play. I am going to be on that one, even though it's going to be it's tough to bet Arizona, tough to bet Davies. I'll take Arizona first 5 and minus 102 at Pinnacle. We'll make that official, Jim.
First 5 minus 102.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling here. Royals, Giants next up. Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. I did cash with Busch in his last start at home versus the Orioles, but he did get touched in that 5th inning. He was running nice. Everything was going smoothly, and then I almost lost the bet. But they did come back to get some runs in the bottom of the 5th to cash it for me. But he was running smooth. I think he's got a high upside, but he's tough to trust. And is Logan Webb the same pitcher as he was last year? Pete, the numbers would say that is not the case.
Definitely not, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the weather first in San Francisco. 63 Fahrenheit, 11.8 miles per hour out to right center, dies down to 10. Then we have the line history in this Royals-Giants matchup. We have a 15-cent move to the Giants. They opened up at minus 245. They're now minus 260. This total has been over 8 at minus 115 and has not moved. Yes, Lucas Ryan, I can answer that question and would be happy to. Let me copy and paste that. I can do it really fast. Igor Larionov, the Harold Sneps, Stan Smeal, Garth Butcher, and Tony Tanti. And I love the Sedins, but don't make my top 5. Okay, back to here. Bubic, Webb. Let's take a look at the cash, the money here. 8,171 tickets in, 84% of tickets, 99% of the cash on the Giants, and then 84% of tickets, 61% of cash on the over. So there is some money that's come in on the under. Yeah, no Naz. Look, I love Naz. He has my top 5 in my lifetime. Those are I love Naslund. I love the Steens, but they're not my top 5. I never liked the Canucks more in my life, except from when I 6 to 10 is when I liked them more than I've ever liked anything ever before. So they're going to be my favorite players, are mostly around that time. Okay, back to Bubic. Last start, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and 7-5 win at home versus the Orioles. Logan Webb, 5-2, 3.77 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. This young pitcher still was absolutely dominant last year at home. That has not been the case of late, but he's still been good. In his last start, he went 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, no homers, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-2 loss at home versus the Rockies. The Royals versus the righties, 239, 668 OPS. Giants versus lefties, 237, 742 OPS. Gino Ojic has got to be up there, and I can't get Bure's Game 7 overtime goal from the Jeff Brown pass against Calgary Flames out of my head. And how could I not have Trevor Linden up there? I mean, but those are my top 5. Royals bullpen 4.86 ERA, 1.55 WHIP. Giants bullpen 4.15 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Take it away here, Pete. Royals, Giants, and Pete. There was an idea that these Giants weren't going to be able to hit lefties this year. That has not been the case. They've been hitting lefties hard. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this spot. Royals, Giants. How can we get paid?
Yeah, this is a really tough one. Yesterday, I had a pretty good read on the game. Although, I mean, Case, it's just one of those situations where you have a bad team, you have a good read on the game, and you get half paid, but they're so bad that you still just don't get full paid. I had KC first 5 team total over 1.5, which cashed. I had KC first 5 and first 3 plus a half, which cashed. But then I also had the KC full game team total over 3, which still lost. So I only got half paid on that one. They're just a shitty team. So, my numbers indicate that San Francisco has a little bit of value. Again, I definitely haven't bet that one, and I'm probably going to stay off of this one. But yeah, Webb is not nearly what he was, but still, serviceable. And Bubic is vulnerable. And then after that, you just got, a terrible bullpen and just a weak piece of shit team. So it's I would be leaning San Francisco here, but I haven't bet it. And as the line creeps up, I probably won't.
Huh. Yeah. Moving forward with both of these pitchers, do you see Bubic playing up to? He was a very highly thought of.
Yeah.
young pitcher, high draft pick. Do you think he's going to be better as we move forward?
Very possibly. You take it game by game. So I mean, you see this all the time with like Cabrera. Pitchers who are a tweak away from being upper tier. That is certainly the case with him. But until the tweak comes, you're not going to just expect it to come when you haven't seen it yet. And then Webb, I'm not really. Yeah, I think Webb is just serviceable, but maybe like a righty Sean Manaea type. No problem fading him. On the road against some, power hitting team in a ballpark that's good for hitters, but probably okay at home against weak lineups, which is, kind of the case here.
And do we expect Logan Webb to become? And it's perfect timing for Nut Flush Allen to be in the house. Nasty Nate says Giant smash. Nut Flush Allen says this game seems way too easy
on the Giants. Yeah,
we don't know. He's just he's added some. We don't know. I mean, we imagine that's what he's saying, but he is still leaving.
Oh, he's not there. Okay.
There's still suspense involved. No, he is. He just says this game seems way too easy. Dot.
Yeah.
Giants run line for Johnny K.
There's no way he's saying way too easy on KC. No, that can only be one direction there. Yeah. I mean, it's just such a high line though, But yeah, I mean, my numbers indicated value on the Giants on the opening line. I didn't pull the trigger, and now it's moved. So I'm an inch away from getting Giants -1 anyway. But yeah.
All right. Nutflush says I'm here, but this seems extremely fishy. Okay. No move at this point. I doubled up on the LA Dodgers. I've been simplifying things too much when Tony Gonsolin is on the mound, but I keep getting paid. I backed him first 5 -1/2 in full game, -1 in the last start against the White Sox. I just think that he's a very, very good pitcher, and I continually have a pitching advantage with him. And I know that. I have this pitching advantage every time he's on the bump. Billy Friedrich says somewhere Tiger Williams is weeping. Jimmy softly weeping. Tiger Williams we're a little. He went on a flight to uplift the troops. Pete Tiger Williams, the great Tiger Williams, a little troop booster, but he was arrested as soon as he stepped off the flight for whatever happened on the flight, and. It did kind of throw us a little bit of a curveball for the great Tiger Williams, but he's a fascinating character. Nuflashan says Giants could be in a big flat spot today. Let's see how many lefties KC plugs into the lineup. All right, let's talk about the Syndergaard Tony Gonsolin spot here. We have the Dodgers Stadium in Chavez Ravine, 74 Fahrenheit, 5.6 miles per hour to right field, dies down to 4. So not too much there. Then we have the line history in this one, an 8-cent move to the Dodgers. Now, it got to -210. It came back to -200. When I took them on the -1, I got the -200. So I got it after the 8-cent move. And from a total perspective, it opened up at 9 and went down to 8.5. And let's just take a look at the cash flow here if it follows suit with this Dodger spot. You have 7,843 tickets in. 83% of tickets, 91% of the cash on the Dodgers. 66% of tickets, 80% of the cash on the under. You would think if that much money was on the Dodgers, then the line would move further. And maybe in any other spot, and maybe this is the mistake that I've been making too much of, because I've been cashing on Gonsolin all year. I don't care. I'm just going to keep making money off Gonsolin, and I don't care what the market says. And maybe this will end up being a mistake. And I don't know. We'll have to hear what Pete has to say. Syndergaard 4-4, 3.69 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. He's either lights out or gets destroyed. It's a very, very strange situation for him. His last start was very good. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 3 Ks, 1 walk, no 1-0 loss at home versus the Red Sox. Gonsolin's last start, he went 3 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 5 Ks, 1 walk in the 4-1 win at the White Sox. We know the White Sox can't hit righties, but Gonsolin's now 7-0, 1.58 ERA, 0.86 WHIP. He's been excellent. Angels are hitting 243, 734 OPS versus righties. Dodgers 252, 764 OPS. And the Dodgers have a big bullpen advantage. Viper says, I am with you, Jimmy. Just added Dodgers -1.5. Says Noah will get smoked. Don Mack is on the under 9s. As hopefully today isn't the day their bats wake up. Matt Pollins is fading Syndergaard. And D. Jenkins says Dodgers had a really bad series. I don't care what. I'm not paying any attention to what happened the day before or any of that stuff. And that's been helping me as well. Because if you remember when I backed them here against the White Sox, everybody was saying, I think they'd lost 2 straight to or forget how, or they definitely lost the day before at least. And they might have lost 2 in a row to the White Sox. But I didn't care. It didn't concern me. Take it away here for us, Pete. A very fascinating game on the card. Yes. Battle of Los Angeles, Angels-Dodgers.
All right, I have a decent amount of things to say. First of all, I have also been betting Gonsolin, but as much because of the the Dodgers lineup and bullpen as his results, and just to throw things throw things out there. There's some numbers for you, Jim. I'm not making a prediction for him, but you know what BABIP is, right? Batting average on balls in play, right?
Of course.
Yeah. He is has one of the lowest BABIPs of all starters in baseball, right? Under 200, right? So that is not sustainable. Probably not. He also has a high strand rate. A lot of guys left on base, which is also something that is seen as being not sustainable. Although I'm not sure how much I agree with that as much as some of the other stuff. But yeah, in general, I think that he's pitched a bit above his head, which doesn't mean he's not a good pitcher. And again, of course, you get bailed out with the lineup and the bullpen if he's a little off his game. So I do like the Dodgers here. I'm a little bit snake bit with the Angels as well. I have I bet on the Angels to be better at times recently and gotten burned a few times with that. I'm not sure what's up with Trout. And then Ward is supposed to be back. That's going to be a huge boost for the Angels. And I read a report that he might actually be back here. Do you know about that, Jim?
I'm not. Nothing I've seen has been confirmed yet, but let me see if I
definitely can coming back soon. And I read something saying he might be back today. So I haven't bet it yet. Definitely leaning Dodgers, but the fact that Gonsolin is probably due for some regression, the fact that the Angels should be better on paper at least than they have been so far, and the fact that Ward is coming back and might be back today are just other things I'm thinking about. So this is a game that I'll probably have a bet on at some point, but it's probably going to be closer to first pitch. Probably going to be waiting to see if Ward is in when the lineups are announced. So that's all. Those are all things I'm thinking about in this one, Jim.
That makes sense. You get a better price then.
On what? On the Dodgers? Oh, if Ward's in, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or I might just stay off it. It's an interesting game. I'm not sure what I'll do.
Coin saying that the Dodgers are 6-1 off an off day. Ron Crawford is on the Dodgers run line. Noli Knows has moved on the first 5 under 4.5. So expecting Syndergaard to have a nice start here. I love when Noli shares his action with us. Freddie Freeman's hitting 435 in 23 at-bats against them. Justin Turner's hitting 333. Yeah.
Sammy Comer says, yeah, Ward will play. Now, I don't know if that's a huge deal for tonight, but going forward, that's probably a big, big deal.
He was planning that Tuesday would be the spot he comes back. But again, you can't always trust these groin issues. Is it groin or hamstring, whatever it is. But, and Michael Irvelina will be at the game tonight. If anybody is going to be at Dodgers Angels at Dodger Stadium, let us know so we can get a bunch of you guys to meet up for a beer. Coin says Dodgers are 5-0 in Gosselin's home starts this year. And Lucas Ryan says Noli Knows has a place at my dinner table any night of the week. He's a very beloved capper who's been excellent on our show, and you will see a lot more of him here. on the show. So if anyone's going, so what do you think of Noli's first 5 under 4.5 here? So he expecting Syndergaard to have a nice start.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think Syndergaard is a bit vulnerable in general. Gonsolin is good, but not as good as we've seen from him. The Angels should be better offensively. If Ward is back, that's a huge addition. Maybe not necessarily the first game back, but it is a huge addition. I hope Noli knows cashes. I certainly haven't bet this one yet. Yeah, those are my thoughts, Jim.
All right. Well, I'm on the first 5 in full game with the Dodgers, and I'm just going to back Tony Gonsolin blindly, pretty much, as we move forward, if it's not too big of a price. Let's move on to the final game on the card, 10:10 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Twins, 36-27, 16-13 on the road at the Seattle Mariners, 27-34, 13-13 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Absolutely, Michael Irvelina. I'd love that. Absolutely love that. I wish I spent more time in LA. I'm trying to figure out the time to get down there. And Noli knows, by the way, says neither team hitting right now feels the bats will start slow. JPG says, I hate these Angels. They always beat us. Not where it counts, not when it matters. Okay, let's take a look here at the weather, the line history, and the cash. And then bring in a special guest here. 63 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 3.7 miles per hour out to left, moves out to center. It always stays around 3.7 or 3.8, so it's non-issue. Let's take a look at where the line is right now in this spot. Joe Ryan back against Logan Gilbert. 5-cent move to the Mariners. That's it. Minus 115 to minus 120. This total's gone from 7.5 to a 7. Take a look at the cash in this one. And what the hell is it? Sorry, I don't know why I can't find. Where is this Mariners? Oh, there we go. Sorry. We have line value supposedly on Logan Gilbert and the Mariners, about a 6th line value. 3,694 tickets in. 59% of the tickets, 54% of the cash on. It just moved to 52% of cash. So 59% of the tickets, 52% of cash on the Twins. And then 43% of tickets, 87% of cash on the under. So a lot of money on this under. We have Joe Ryan going up against Logan Gilbert. Joe Ryan returning from the COVID break. 5-2, 2.28 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. Our Jose Bouquet got us on Joe Ryan futures to win Rookie of the Year. And I told everybody, because a bunch of us got on it, I told everyone not to worry about this break because he's going to be on some sort of a innings limit this year. And any chance we can take a little bit of a break will help us prolong him playing for the Twins. In his last start, it was a while ago. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 2 walks, 9 to win at the Royals. Logan Gilbert's been really good this year. 6-2, 2.41 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. His last start was 6-3 win at Houston. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 3 Ks, 3 walks. Quality start. Twins rating 255, 753 OPS versus righties. Mariners 243, 713 OPS. Both bullpens have struggled this year. Let's bring in your special guest, the fans in the chat and our friends in the chat, our family in the chat have wanted to see this man make an appearance. And here he is, star of Say Hey Plays of the Day, coming off his best week on the show, in my estimation. Let's see what he has in store for us this week. There's been a lot of suspense, a lot of build-up to his appearance here today. We've been waiting 2 hours and 8 minutes for it to occur. Please welcome to the show, Jose Zenyatta Bouquet.
I want death's slow grip to take me.
Oh, it's more Shakespeare?
Yeah, it should be. It's feeling a little bit like a Midsummer. It's feeling like Hamlet. And those are all the Shakespeare plays that I've got in my bag.
All right.
I'm sad. I'm not out of it though. Don't cut us out of this yet though. But I am sad, yes. It's a little more reserved this time.
Yeah. It's strange not seeing those Lecce arms dancing around the back.
Yeah, well, a part of me was taken yesterday. A part of me was left out on the court, and it really hurt me. It really hurt me a little bit, and I cannot believe that we're in this position, and the things that have to occur now because I'm in this position make me really sad. But we're here to talk about baseball. This is not a basketball show right now.
Okay, well, let's see if maybe this return of Joe Ryan. I know that he's a favorite of yours. Maybe we'll make you put a smile on your face. First off, where is your record stand in Say Hey Plays of the Day right now?
It's a lovely question. I'll pull it up. Still up over 8 units. 1 and 3 yesterday. Adding to my just the pain and the desire of sweet death to just grip my neck and take me away. But we're 205 and 201, up 8.8 units, 808s and heartbreaks right now.
That's strong. That's strong. And who's your special guest on today's show?
Well, Jim, by the time that Say Hey Play starts, I will hopefully be in a much chipper mood, maybe. But it's a special show, one that I've been waiting a long time for. It is Say Hey Plays 69, of course, and the only person that I could have on Say Hey Plays 69 is our mutual friend Alex Pavone. So Say Hey Plays 69 today with Alex Pavone. I'm sure it'll be a very nice show.
Yes, I love Pavone. That's will be a very fun show as well as a nice show. That's exciting. Pavone on the show today, and Twins Seattle Mariners Say Hey Play of the Day is.
I can't believe the Celtics lost that game, man. I cannot believe it. Let's talk about Joe Ryan. I was a little concerned about the long break. I'm not gonna lie. The break has allowed Jeremy Pena to take the lead right now in the AL Rookie of the Year race. And I don't know, Jim, how many bets are too many bets in the AL Rookie of the Year race? But of course, I've got 3. Well, I should say 2. I did not bet Joe Ryan officially, but I do want him to win for your guys' sake. But I am on Bobby Witt and Jeremy Pena to win the Rookie of the Year as well. So I have all 3 of these guys basically in my hearts and mind. And Joe Ryan being out did concern me, and he does obviously have the lead here now. But it seems like he's back in action, ready to go. His AAA rehab start on 6-9 was 3 innings, 1 hit, 4 Ks, no walks. I mean, can't ask for much better than that. But I think he gets touched up a little bit today. I think coming back to the majors after a long break, and he's a pitcher that has not, done that. So I will see how he does there. His first start of the year this year was against these very Seattle Mariners at the Mariners, 4 innings, 2 runs. And that was in my head, I'm thinking that's the tip top, healthy, ready to go, whatever. And he gives up 4 and 2 runs there. Imagine what he might do off a long layoff here. I think he can give up some runs. And Logan Gilbert on the other side has been, shaky at moments. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks at Houston last time out on the 8th. And at Texas, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned, 7 Ks, 1 walk. I think 3.5 is a little low. I think 4 is the right number here, honestly. So I took the first 5 over 3.5 at I believe it is minus 115, I believe. It is, minus 120 now. So I think that both these offenses can get to both these young pitchers. Third are the the third are the Minnesota Twins against righties, 153 weighted runs created plus, while Seattle's 7th, 119. I think they're better at home. I did look specifically, and by the way, those are since the start of June numbers now, the beginning of June. I did look specifically to see how the Seattle Mariners did against righties at home. It was a lot lower. It's 96, I believe, weighted runs created plus, but I chalked that up to a little bit of a smaller sample size, perhaps. So I'm on the first 5 over here, 3.5. I do love both of these pitchers, but I just think it's a 2-2 kind of game.
Well, you are locked in. Say Hey Play. That's a better line than we can give you at Pinnacle. So Say Hey Play today, first 5 over 3.5 at minus 120. And right now, the favorite to win the American League Rookie of the Year is Julio Rodriguez.
Well, good, great. I don't think he will win it, but great. I honestly think that if the Mariners don't succeed, they don't make the playoffs, he doesn't win it. I think that it's as simple as that, honestly. And I understand that baseball is more of a sport of individual performances when it comes to those events. Shout out to Mike Trout. But I think that for example, Jeremy Pena gets the Astros to the playoffs, 1 seed, wins division, all that good stuff, I think he'll be right there. And Joe Ryan, if he gets the Twins to win this division, and pitch well down the stretch, I think he can absolutely be in it as well.
Yeah, I 17 steals for Julio Rodriguez, leading the league there with 8 homers, but it's a real tough grind, 162 game season. So you'd have to expect his numbers will drop off in the second half of the year, but we shall see. Okay, we have a couple questions here and some thoughts from the chat, and I will share them. First off, Lucas Ryan has said, "Can we get Peter to have a talk to Jose to lift his spirits? Because he's
lift his spirits.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
He's depressed about the Celtics. What the fuck is he depressed about?
Yeah,
what do you got to be depressed about? You jerk off. What kind of Jose do you want to be? Look in the mirror, decide what kind of Jose you want to be, and fucking be it. Get up every day, make your bed, brush your teeth, take a shower, be honest with yourself, with your friends, and with your loved ones, and be the kind of Jose that you want to be. If you do it, great. If you don't, quit whining.
Pete, can I be transparent with you?
Sure. What's he upset about?
I did absolutely none of those things this morning.
Oh,
Absolutely
exactly.
No teeth were brushed, no shower was taken, and no bed was made. So it seems like I'm off on the wrong foot here, Pete. But you mentioned earlier, Pete, that you could do the show a little bit more Brooklyn. Could you do that for me? You showed me the Shakespeare, but I want to see Brooklyn, Pete.
I don't know. I'm a little bit tired here, Jose. I'm not this baseball. I've had a rough few days, and today's card is a little bit iffy as well. Sure, I could do Brook. What do you want me to say to you? What do you want? You're a fucking jerk off, okay? If you don't want to be a jerk off, then don't fucking be one, okay? If you're gonna be a jerk off, then don't fucking sit there looking like a double jerk off, complaining about how you look. You know what I'm saying? Be who you want to be. Be who you want to be, Jose.
You know what I want to be?
What's that?
And you know what stinks about this, Pete? I have to fucking eat the music now.
Nobody likes a complainer. Oh, shit.
Where you at, Jose? Hey, I've been looking for you, bruh. Man, I've been looking for you, man. I've been in these streets, dog. I've been looking for you, but I just can't seem to find you, man. I just cannot seem to find you at all, bro. So I'm like, okay, let me just holler at you and just see what's good with my man, Jose. Low Shack. All right, have you been able to find Jose? Because I cannot find this motherfucker at all, bro. I can't.
I don't really look for him, but
Jimmy, tell your man to come see me. Tell him to come see me, bro. I need to be seen right away. We talked about this. And you got me hyped up on my quad espresso now. And I'm telling you, man, I found you, Jose. Oh, yeah. Where the hell is Nate at, too? Yeah, Nate, I see you. Where the hell y'all been? Man? Where's all that rambling energy in your fucking milky arms, just waving up and down, saying Boston is Boston that? Jose, I wear a size large, bruh. Size large, flying chancla shirt. I want it ASAP stat because you're about to lose. It's curtains. So I need to see you. I want all that same smoke that you was giving me last week. You called me out, and now look at you. Dog. You look pathetic. You look homeless.
That's what I was saying.
You look like your girl just dumped you, bruh. Just dumped you. You know, you should be dumped. After that long monologue that you gave me, you should be single. You should be single and homeless right now. I swear to God you should. You know why? Because, Jose, just tell me. Daryl, I admit I suck. I really suck at this. Just admit it.
Daryl, I won't do that, Daryl. Here's the thing, Daryl. Here's the thing. Me and my Milky Arms, we're going to win this game, Daryl. We're not done yet, Daryl. We are not dead. Game 6, we're not dead. This is what we're going to do, Daryl. Jason Tatum's going to be having the second best game of his life. Jordan Poole is a bum, a loser. Wardell Curry, he is very good at basketball, better than Kobe Bryant. Remember that. He's good. No one else on this team is good. The Celtics are not dead. We will survive.
Bro, you died game 4. You literally died game 4. You died game 4. That's all I got.
I refuse to die, Daryl. I refuse to die.
Swear to God, man.
Me and my milky arms and tits are here. We're here to play, and we're ready to fight, Daryl. This is war now, Daryl. This ain't no basketball game. This is a backyard brawl. Celtics, Warriors, I'm ready to fight it out. Stephen Curry, you're done. Klay Thompson, done.
Oh, Jimmy, I really, at the end of everything, I really wanted to say, hey, let's just hug it out. And you just,
I refuse.
At this point, no, I'm not hugging nowhere near nothing close to that. I swear to God. All I'm saying is this. If you didn't see last night's game and realize that you don't have a chance, it's over. It's over. I don't want to talk, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, right? We'll talk about how there probably was some questionable calls. There was some flopping involved and all that. You still had more free throws that you could not make. You left points on the board. And
the Celtics are the best team at beating the Celtics.
Yeah, you're shooting air balls in the fourth. So
it's infuriating. The Warriors are not the better team. The Celtics beat the Celtics. It's great. It makes me so mad, Daryl. Thank you for finally seeing my side.
You get smacked, bro. You get
smacked. It's fantastic when the Celtics fucking shoot themselves in the foot and turn over the ball more times than anyone ever in the finals ever. It's fantastic.
That's it. I'm done. This is terrible.
If you had showed me this picture 7 years ago and been like, look, I would not have believed you. But, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
Wow, that was extremely exciting. That was. Did you see the ray of white light coming from Jose's chest as well?
I mean, he really cares about what? I have no idea. Yeah, no, shout out to Jose. He's having a good time. Who am I to judge him based on how he looks? I don't look that great myself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm hideous as well. But a sports bra farmer stand is what Matty Ice is calling it. All right. Okay. Now, before the hijinks, that was extremely enjoyable. We did get a Say Hey play of the day from Jose, and we got Matty Ice's Taint play of the day that came in late as well. But Say Hey play of the day is the first 5 over 3.5 in Twins Mariners. Are you going to also touch on this game, my man?
I don't even know. I will say, Jose, he's up a bunch of units, pretty impressive. This is a ballsy professional style handicapping opinion here, taking 2 pitchers that he admittedly likes and taking a first 5 over with them. I can see it. This is going to be a pass from me, Ryan. I am vaguely high on, and Minnesota has my first thought. I'm going to wait for the lineups to come out. My first thought was to take Minnesota here, one way or another, but I'm going to pass on it. No opinion. I'll just pass.
Sports and tits. That's what Maxwell got. Sports and tits. I didn't have to drop $1 for Maxwell. Sports and tits. Well, the confrontation between young Jose Zenyatta Bouquet and Daryl Rice is only climbing, and it's only getting more exciting, and we have not seen the end of it. Yeah, so more hijinks to come here on both Low Shack in the bag and betting with the bag. So get ready. Get ready. And also, James L. did have a question for Jose in MLB. James L. wondering, Jose, are you moving on game 1 of the doubleheader?
No.
All right. Sorry, I can't help there, James. Lil. All right. Well, Gas Report says Game 6 Clay loading. We have so much basketball to talk about, and we will talk about all of the basketball. But let's give a big shout out to Matty Ice. Taint play of the day is in, and it is the Boston Red Sox run line minus 115 for Taint. Markel's very happy that Jose put a shirt on, but Taint's in. Lee Davis asking if Durrell will be here on. Oops, I did that somehow. If Durrell will be here on Thursday, I think that would. Well, see, Durrell is on our big NBA Pub Hub on Thursday, so I think it would be prudent that we have Durrell on tomorrow's show, so we can make sure that we have him. Is that true, Durrell? Are you on NBA Pub Hub on Thursday?
Yeah, I'll be on Thursday. Hey, man, but I'm on cloud 9, bro. I can do however many shows every day, all day. So yeah, okay. Pete, get your boy, man. Just get your boy. I'm done, dog. I'm done talking, man. He let me have it. And he hurt my feelings. He almost got in my head. Just let him have it, Loshak. Let him have it.
I'm done too. Are you done, Jose? That's what everyone wants to know, because it looks like you are.
There's
your answer.
I'm far from done, Pete.
That's what we're afraid of. Yeah.
I've got so many tricks up my fucking sleeve, Pete.
Oh no.
You have no idea. Game 6 in Boston. You have no idea, Pete.
Damn. Right. He really cares, doesn't he? Good for him. You got to have passion in life.
Pete, you are coming off a spectacular Tuesday in NHL. You went 4-0. So I wanted to ensure that you had the opportunity to get in on game 1, if you so please, in the Stanley Cup Finals in Colorado.
I mean, most of that NHL excellence in that series was listening to you in the comment section and the chat and Gogi and everyone. This one, I guess, when I look at this, my first thought is just, I mean, obviously the rust issue is something that I guess you'd have to consider. But my first thought is this is just a matter of power rankings. We know that Colorado is awesome. We were talking about it all year. When they get everyone back, they're just going to be an absolute juggernaut, best team in the NHL. And the question is, how much better are they than Tampa Bay? And I really can't answer that. I mean, look at Tampa Bay, their first game's against the Rangers, and the Rangers are just steamrolling them. Then game 3 happened, and all of a sudden everything changed on a dime like you predicted. So I really have no idea how much better is Colorado than Tampa Bay. It seems like, but then again, I don't know. How much does Vasilevsky matter? Maybe when with Colorado's depth, it doesn't really matter ultimately who's in goal. Or maybe it does. That's what we're asking you.
Well, there's 2 advantages, and there's advantages on either side, but there's 2 advantages that Tampa Bay Lightning have. You said it, between the pipes. There's no getting around it. Vasilevsky is a huge upgrade, and the Avalanche have kept a lot of things close to their chest. Is it going to be Francouz? There's more work and study I have to do into it, but there's no doubt about it that Vasilevsky gives the Lightning a big advantage. The second big advantage is that the Lightning have been playing, and they didn't go 7 games. They got to have that big break. They turned it on against the Rangers, and then they've had a bit of an extended break, a perfect break, you could say, before the final game. Then what other advantage they have is experience. They've been here and done it before, and teams need to learn how to win. It's not just ingrained into you. You have to lose to learn how to win. And we kept talking about that first time that Oilers played the Islanders at the very end of the Islanders 4-year run of Stanley Cup Finals. And Gretzky talks about it all the time. He talks about it all the time. Wow, a big shout out to El Dorado Custodian. Says, appreciate each and every one. We be pubbing from El Dorado Custodian. Thank you so much for the dono, man. It means a ton to us. What a guy, El Dorado Custodian. Much love, man. Thank you so much for the dono. Billy Friedrich says Lightning in 6. The Colorado Avalanche are too good. They're too good. Cale Makar is too good. So the only way I see the Lightning being able to beat the Avalanche in this series is if Game 1 comes and Braden Point is 100% and Nazem Kadri is not playing. Nazem Kadri doesn't play in the series. Braden Point's 100%. If Kemper's hurt and the Avs have to go with Francouz for the rest of the Stanley Cup Finals, if these things happen, then all of a sudden things change in the series. Billy Friedrich says no, Kadri is a big deal for Avs. It's a very big deal for the Avs, but the Avalanche are too good. They have too much. So,
well, let me ask you this, Jim. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. If the Avs are too good, then why did they lose 2 of 3 at home to St. Louis, and the one they won was OT?
Because St. Louis is a very good hockey team.
Compared to Tampa Bay? I mean, you said St. Louis is better than Edmonton, granted, but compared to Tampa Bay?
Well, Tampa Bay and St. Louis are two really good hockey teams that have won Stanley Cups and know how to do it and know how to play playoff hockey. And so, yeah, it was a very tough series. And St. Louis would give any team a run for their money. If the Stanley Cup final was St. Louis Tampa, the series would go 6 or 7 games. So I don't, and that was their Achilles heel. They'd never gotten past the second round. We all saw what happened once they got past the second round. They relaxed a little bit. They finally did it, and then they just ran over the Oilers, who aren't that good, but they just ran them over. So I make a little bit more money on the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup than I do on the Avalanche, a little bit more money. But I think the Avalanche are too good. And I think the Avalanche stopped the Lightnings. But in saying that, when I look at the series odds, they're wild to me. The Avalanche shouldn't be this big of a favorite, in my estimation. Right now, they're at minus 175 to win the series. I think I would have probably put it at minus 150 or minus 155 personally. So, Michael Overland said took a long shot flyer for Point to win the Conn Smythe. I really need to see. Now, Slatsy has a good point. Says, look at the goalies Colorado's faced. Mike Smith with 2 backups in Nashville. I think that you bet the Lightning in Game 1. It's already moved from plus 150 to plus 135, so we're losing value very quickly. But this series is going to be one for the ages. I think that so it's now plus 135 for the Lightning, which sucks. I should have moved on it already. I was just so hesitant to put any money at risk when I'm guaranteed to win all this money. I just don't want to take any money away from what I'm going to end up getting.
But we need your thoughts on because maybe Tampa Bay, especially with the possibility of an empty netter at the end, maybe Tampa Bay -1 at like plus 230 or something.
The Lightning will never have more value. Dennis said he made the series Colorado minus 170. So you made that minus 170 with Kadri out and Point in, Dennis? D. Jenkins says still taking the plus 135. No, I wouldn't take the -1 in this series. No, because if we get to the extra.
Oh no! I said just game one. Game 1.
Oh no, I wouldn't ever do it. You have too big of an advantage with Vasilevsky in net in an overtime situation. You have too big of an advantage with a team that has done it and won those very close games before. You have to allow your opportunity to win money if the Lightning win in overtime. So no, I would never take a minus. I wouldn't take any -1s. Billy Friedrich says Tampa Bay plus 163 for the series is a nice price. I'm quite confident. Really confident, even without Kadri, that the Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup. And that's because Cale Makar is the best player on the ice. And then you add McKinnon and Landeskog gives you the toughness, and then you have Rantanen. It's too bad that Kadri's gone. Mark Schellenberg says, look at the way Kucherov's playing right now. This guy's so underrated. He's spectacular. Oh, and he then says, yes, I had it minus 185 previously. Kucherov is very good. He's very, very good. Very clutch. And Platt stepping up. And if they get point back, the series could change. It's going to be a hell of a series. And those of you on the Lightning should bet them right away for the series, because I think the Lightning have a really good chance at winning game one. And those of you who want the Avalanche should not bet the Avalanche yet. You should hope that the Lightning win game one and then come back and bet the Avalanche. My guy says Rangers destroyed the Lightning game one. No, I definitely do not think taking the plus 135 is a mistake. It's just that it probably should have moved. We probably should have moved right away at the plus 150. And the only excuse I give myself of being a deer in the headlights is because I'm in the best situation I've ever been in my entire life in the futures market ever. Never been in this situation before.
Okay, Jim.
Yes,
I've been listening. I got it. Okay, my official play for game one: Tampa Bay Lightning team total over 2.5 minus 124. Current line at Pinnacle. You can add that on my official record, Jim.
Okay, so Loshak Lightning team total over 2.5
minus 120.
Minus 120.
124. Yeah.
Oh, minus 124. Okay, thank you. I will lock in my action soon. Billy Friedrich says McKinnon Kucherov total points in the series. So you got? I would have McKinnon confidently, because when the Lightning win games, they're not going to win high scoring games, and the Avalanche are capable of winning high scoring games. There's going to be that one game where McKinnon goes for 4 or 5 points. Kucherov is going to have to be in 80% of the goals for him to keep pace with McKinnon. The Colorado Avalanche could score more goals in the series and lose the series.
Do you have any reason to believe that Colorado will come out for game one and try to have some sort of like conservative game plan to keep the score low?
No, I mean, that's a good question. That's a really good question. We'd have to see what changes with Braden Point in the lineup.
Is Colorado even capable of that?
Well, I think that's probably the way you have to play the Lightning, because they have a tough time scoring without Point. So the mistake I made in game 6, which I didn't bet, but my thinking was that the Rangers were just going to throw everything possible at the Lightning, and that wasn't the case because the Lightning have a really tough time scoring. So the Rangers kept it really tight, and we're hoping to get on the power play and get a Zibanejad one-timer to, I thought so. I think it's a very interesting way to put it.
But Point is back. Point's back, right?
Point's back, but where is he at? Is he at 80% Point? I mean, nobody has the puck more than Braden Point on the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has the puck all day. He's the centerpiece of the power play. He's the guy who has the puck on his stick. So what point are we getting? I mean, we have to see with our own eyes. So Billy Friedrich says more points they have Rantanen versus Stamkos. I don't, Billy. I really don't. I'm telling you, like, there's going to be a game where the Avalanche put 5 goals in, I think. But the difference is the Lightning are locked in right now. God, I can't wait to watch this series. Andrew G says Kuch has a lot of mileage on him. Kucherov had to really play. Kucherov and Stamkos have had to play a lot and play at an extremely high level. And the Avalanche are just such a rested group. So I think the Lightning are the bet game one, and I should move on it soon before we see a plus 130. It might be interesting to see if any Avalanche late money comes in, because it's starting to get to a point where some people might think, the Avalanche are the better team. At this point, we don't have a lot of tickets in. 5,535 tickets in. 64% of the tickets, 68% of the cash is on Colorado, and it's moving towards Tampa. So you get the reverse line movement that I know a lot of people look for. And then 48% of the tickets, 56% of cash is on the over, which is surprising. Lee Davis says, do you think Tampa gets one in Colorado? They better get game one. Or the answer is no. I don't think game 2 they need game 1. They have to get game 1. It's imperative. It's imperative because the Avalanche are going to have the rest advantage once we get deeper into the playoffs. So, have to. Andrew G's offense versus defense is a classic matchup. Kind of reminds me of Boston versus Chicago a few years ago. Chicago ended up winning using the speed to get around the big, bad Bruins. Mark Schlingberg says for Colorado to win, in my opinion, they will have to mirror the way Tampa Bay plays. It's out of their character. Tampa Bay has been playing this way for a few years now. I think Tampa Bay takes 3 in a row. The D shot blocking wins. Generally, I would agree with this. It's just that Cale Makar could possibly be the best defenseman since Bobby Orr. It's a lot of people are saying it, and a lot of older cappers are saying it. A lot of 65-year-old cappers are saying he's the best defenseman I've seen since Bobby Orr. When that's the case, and you have McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, and you're going to play Makar for 30 minutes, the Avalanche are a better hockey team even without Kadri. Now, can Vasilevsky stand on his head? He can, and he probably will. And I still don't think it's enough to be the Colorado Avalanche. That's the way I see it.
So it sounds like you're not too jazzed about my team total over. It sounds like if you could have Tampa Bay in game 1 over 2.5 at -125, or Colorado under 3.5 at -125, sounds like you'd be taking Colorado.
I like the. I took a ton. We looked at me and a few friends were looking at the team totals for the Avalanche. It's just the market agrees that the Avalanche are not going to light it up in game 1 with the way the Lightning are playing right now. So the 3.5, I have it at -155 under 3.5 for the Avalanche.
At Pinnacle, it is 128.
Yeah, I think Vasilevsky is amazing in game 1. I think he's amazing in game 1. But I think a bet that I'm interested in making here, and it might, we'll see here. What is the – let's just go here if we can take the game 1 and series. So Lightning to win game 1 and lose the series is +425.
Michael Irvelina says, love Tampa Bay over 2.5, just took it big. I hope he took it big for his own reasons, not because he heard me taking it. I don't want to get into one of those things where I took because you took it. I love it because you said you loved it too, because you said you loved it. I don't fucking know. Jeez,
Lightning to win game 1 and lose series is a nice spot. It's the exact same price, interestingly enough, as it was for the Celtics to win game 1 and lose the series, which they didn't. But I remember telling you guys, I'm surprised we're not getting 7-1. And then I watched NBA Pub and Babano moved on the Celtics to win game 1 and lose the series, which, so it's interesting. Celtics to win game 1, lose series is the exact same price, +425, as the Lightning to win game 1 and lose series. So I guess I just need a little bit more time. And I don't want to have $600 on this game. I mean, that'd be the dumbest thing I could possibly do when I have all this guaranteed money coming in. So I think I think the first period under is going to be a great look here. What is the first period under 1.5?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, first period under would be, let's see what we
Plus
got.
110?
Plus 115 at Pinnacle.
I think the first period under 1.5. I think so. Obviously, so if you have the Lightning winning game 1, which I do have, then you have to think that correlates with an under. And the Lightning had a really tough time scoring. They've had a tough time scoring since Braden Point got hurt. So if you like Lightning to take advantage of things, then you should also like unders. D. Jenkins says thoughts on game 1 overtime. I've never made that bet. It's funny. We're talking about certain bets that succeed. One of the things, you get all these different types of different cappers on Pub Sports Radio. Babano, he cashes that in the elimination games and often the over 2 goals in the third period. I've never made that bet in my life. And I've actually never made a bet on a game to go to overtime. I can't remember if I ever have. There's certainly not in the last couple of years or few years, maybe 8-10 years ago when I was playing with smaller money and trying for bigger scores. But I don't bet games to go to overtime, even though I get them. And if I was ever going to bet a game to go to overtime, it'd be with like max a quarter of my unit size. It would just be a little fun addition. Lucas Ryan saying Darcy's a fraud. Yeah, I get it. Mike M says cash Tampa Bay to win series plus 500. Celtics Golden State double at 550 last week, running it back with house money. I love it. Mike M says tinfoil theory part 2. The series goes 7. NHL trailing the NBA finals in the first time I can remember. Showcase moment for the NHL. Yeah, it's because of the Olympics, right? We took 2 weeks off for the Olympics, 2.5 weeks off, and then didn't play, which got us a really nice showcase spot. It's an interesting way of putting it. This series goes long. I agree. The series ends in the only way the series ends in 5 is if the Lightning do to the Avalanche what they did to the Florida Panthers. And I don't think Avalanche can be shut down like that. So Viper saying Avs win 4-2, I think. I think it's going to be hard to win in Tampa. So I don't know if they can win Game 6 in Tampa. I mean, that's just so hard. And the Lightning have sold out over 50 straight games at home. I mean, it's a real home ice advantage now. So, first period under 1.5, and then Lightning first period. But if I make 3 bets, and then if I take Lightning full game, if I make 3 bets, I'm not betting them at 200 a pop. It's just lunatic. If I was to risk anything when I have the futures coming in, so the max I would play them at is 150. I probably should play them at 125, but I'll have to figure that shit out. Jeffrey Moore says, who do you like for the Conn Smythe Trophy? Well, Cale Makar. Cale Makar, without a doubt. Let's just take a look at those numbers here quickly. I know we got to put an end to this show, but let's see who we have for the Conn Smythe. And he's the favorite, yeah, plus 200. Yeah, I think you have an option of, if you like the Avalanche to win it all, you take Cale Makar, and if you like the Lightning to win it all, you take Vasilevsky at 4-1. Billy Friedrich's adding Makar, Vazzy, McKinnon, Kucherov, Stamkos, Landeskog, Rantanen, Hedman, Field. Oh no, he's just giving us the odds. Sorry, of course. I was like, Billy, how many? Yeah. This is so much fun. Okay.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh, let's see what's going on here.
And of course, we haven't touched on it, which matters, but we don't. I mean, Tampa Bay plays at a very low altitude at their home games against Florida, low altitude. Now they're going to Colorado. Obviously, St. Louis, that didn't matter for them. But, you got to at least acknowledge it, right? The altitude in Colorado for game 1 might affect Tampa Bay in some way. I don't know how, but
in the third period, maybe heavy legs, maybe. In Jose's letting us know Kemper 100% healthy. So, I said that there was no drop off or almost no drop off with Francouz to Kemper. I guess I still believe that slightly. I do think Kemper's a better goaltender after what we saw.
Okay, Real Deal Prime says Colorado's going to run and gun, force that high pace. So maybe Tampa Bay will be tired, lose 6-3. The team total cashes anyway.
Yeah. Well, so I guess after talking it out, and I wonder if I move. I'm not going to move on it after the show. Like, I'm going to sit today and think about it. But I guess those would be my 3 bets. First period under 1.5, Lightning first period, and Lightning. And the reason why I think that is because it's going to be a madhouse at the Ball Center, whatever they call that place. It's going to be a madhouse. And who can handle a madhouse? Vasilevsky and the defending Stanley Cup champions and the way they're going to play. So I'd say those are my 3 moves. First period under 1.5, Lightning first period, Lightning full game. And again, I won't bet 200 a piece on that under no circumstances. Pete, are you adding anything to the Lightning team total over 2.5?
Nope, I'll just go with that. If it loses, I'll be fine because I believe in it and I bet sized it appropriately, which is what everyone watching should do at all times. Great fucking show, Jimmy the Bag.
So much fun, aka the Groat, Billy Friedrich. It's so much fun. We love these Tuesdays with you enormously, Pete. Pete Loshak's coming off a 9-2 plus 6.83 unit Tuesday last week. Let's review all action. He started with the Pirates team total over 4 at minus 118. He has not moved on game 2. Domi Gunrichi, by the way, Cards the first 5 of the doubleheader under 5. The one that's popped off right now. He's on the over 8 in the Mets game. Baltimore team total over 3.5 and the Padres minus 133. Coin says Tampa Bay had a much tougher path to get here, going through Toronto, Florida, New York Rangers. Is Colorado similar to any of those clubs? Yeah, and you're right, Coin. They had a much tougher route, without a doubt. I hope so, El Dorado. We'll see. Bottom of the second, still scoreless. Thank you, Billy. So, okay, then Braves, Washington, we stayed off. Loshak's on the over 8.5 minus 113 in Miami, Philadelphia. I want in on that. Rays, Yankees, we stayed off. Pete's on the first three over 2.5 at minus 125 in Baltimore, Toronto. White Sox, Tigers, we stayed off. But Sharpie says this was an easy bet for me. Cease over 7.5 Ks minus 114. Full breakdown on Twitter. Cease owns these Tigers. 8+ Ks in every start versus the Tigers without back-to-back, and their numbers are terrible last 15. Peter's on the first 5 over 4 at minus 113 in Milwaukee, New York Mets, and I want in as soon as this show is over. Spreadsheet play of the day is on the New York Mets. Pete's on the under 9.5 at minus 104 in Oakland, Boston Red Sox. I was going to be on the Rangers first 5, but Pete talked me off of it with the Urquidy spot, and I'm very comfortable. I don't even when it doesn't matter. It's helped me in the long run being talked off a place. Loshak is on San Diego, Chicago Cubs first 5 over 5.5 minus 104, and yes, run first inning at minus 143. My whole plan was to bet the Padres, but the market has me off. Then Pete's on the Rockies minus 1 at plus 218. The old Coors Field fade, but on the minus 1 line. He's on the Diamondbacks first 5 at minus 102. Royals, Giants, we stayed off, and I doubled up on the Dodgers. First 5 minus half, full game minus 1. I've already bet that. The rest that I talked about are additions I'm going to make. So I have a small card today. Taint play of the day's Red Sox run line at minus 115. And say a play of the day is the Twins, Mariners, first 5 over 3.5. Pete is adding the Lightning team total over 2.5. And I've told you about the 3 spots. But we'll have Mr. Gogster on the show tomorrow to talk out all of NHL. And as a group last week, we went 11-0, plus 12.61 units. Pete, we cherish these Tuesdays. You brought a ton of great insights and also levity. You bring so much to the show. Your Shakespeare monologue was very impressive. Very, very impressive. Shout out to all the cappers supporting the show. James S. Dorado, El Dorado Custodian. Thank you for that $20 dono, El Dorado Custodian. It means a ton to us here at Pop Sports Radio. Thank you, man. D. Jenkins, James S., Billy Friedrich, Real Deal Prime, Andrew G., Coin, Viper, NB, Jeffrey Moore, Occupancy says Vasilevsky save props could be a good way to get paid this week. Yes. That's a very interesting way of looking at the prop market because I think he's going to stand on his head. I think he's going to be so good. God, I can't wait to watch him. Mike M., Mark Schillingberg, Lucas Ryan. Such a great group. Michael Irvelina, Max Swelly, my guy, Dav Fenn. Lee Davis says, I could see Tampa getting 1-3 and then taking some Avs series prices going into game 4. Yes. I could see that. I could see Tampa winning game 1 and moving on it. God, it's going to be a fun series. God damn, it's going to be a fun series. Yes, if I had I would love to see what the yes or no on Tampa getting 1 in Colorado, but I'm telling you, it's got to be game 1. It's got to be game 1. Euro Morpheus, Dennis Garcia, thank you guys so much. LJ from H-Town. Pistol Pete, any last words for these great cappers supporting the show?
Just for Jose Bouquet and also, but for all the cappers, just try to brush your teeth more times a week than you whack off. Just start with that, okay? Jose Bouquet for this week, just try that. See what happens at the end of the week. See how you feel.
Can only be helpful. On behalf of all of us, big thank you to Jose Zenyatta Bouquet for doing a great job producing the show as always. And Durrell, special guest, popping out of nowhere. I had no idea that Durrell's going to be ready to rock. We love what's going on here in basketball on this show. Let's get that cash. On behalf of all of us, Jeff Slaughter and everybody at Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys so much for watching. Leche, hey, los bookmakers!